Welcome to the Kai's Chevrolet pregame show for the 88th meeting between UW-Eau Claire and UW-La Crosse. The Eagles lead the all-time series 57-28-2. UW-La Crosse also won the last 3 meetings. We start by taking a look at the WXOW standings to set the scene. UW-Whitewater, where they always are, 6-0 in conference, 9-0 overall, the number 3 team in the country. La Crosse losing to Whitewater last week. They are now 5-1, and Eau Claire near the bottom of the division, 1-4 in conference and 3-6 overall. Well, UW-La Crosse was hoping to be at the top of those standings, but just came up short of an upset at Whitewater last week. The eyes of Division III Football Nation was on that top 15 matchup. It was a game La Crosse players said was the most important game of their lives. The conference title on the line last week. Whitewater led 6-0 until the fourth quarter. Max Myler with a bomb to Tyler Holte. That's a 75-yard gain, and it leads to Myler just punching it in from 1 yard out. The game came down to the final seconds. The Warhawk D able to bat the ball down, and La Crosse was a play away from beating Whitewater for the first time since 2004. Warhawks win their 38th WXOW title, and UW-La Crosse still recovering from the heartbreak.
That's the game that, like, for me personally, I really wanted for the seniors who came back and looking at it, it's a tough pill to swallow.
For us, what we learned is, especially kind of after the Grand Valley State game, even though we lost, Whitewater we lost, they're unbelievable teams in that we played with some of the best teams in the country. So taking a positive away from that, we know we can make a pretty deep run into the playoffs.
All is not lost with the Eagles' near comeback win at Whitewater last Saturday. UWL is still in line for an at-large berth into the NCAA Division III playoffs. There are just 5 at-large berths out of the 32 teams that make it nationwide. UWL has one of the best strength of schedules in the nation, but none of that happens unless they beat Eau Claire today.
Like we talked about all day with our guys yesterday and throughout this week, it's about this game, and we have to be able to win this game somehow, some way. Don't care which way, but we have to win this to have a chance at being in the playoffs.
I know a lot of the guys are still hungry. They know that, hey, we still control our destiny. We have another opportunity to still extend our season, and I think that's the way everyone's kind of approaching it. We're all pretty amped up to play Eau Claire this week and make the playoffs to hopefully make a run at the national championship. So.
As for the Blugolds, they began the season 3-1, but turnovers have proven costly in a 5-game losing streak. UW-EC has given the ball away 15 times in those 5 games. Freshman quarterback Harry Rubidoux has made some poor throws, and senior running back Austin Belot has lost a handle a few times as well. UW-EC knows it must play a clean game to contend today, and there's no denying the Blugolds will play hard.
We're not going to take a record and just say that this is our last game, who cares? Like, we're gonna play with every ounce of effort that I have in my body for this last football game. Like, there's no question about it.
It's my last game, and I want to give it everything I got. And that's all I can leave out there is everything I have.
Well, last time these teams played was back in 2019, and it was all UWL. The Eagles scored on their first drive. It's Cam Sorensen on the 24-yard touchdown. Sorensen is the touchdown guy. He has 9 this year. UWL improved to 5-0 at home after beating Eau Claire 42-7. Eagles recorded its first undefeated season at home since 2006. Well, regardless of records, the annual meeting between the Eagles and Blugolds is important to both teams. This is the 88th time these two teams will play each other. The UW-EC hasn't won since 2016, and the Eagles are 5-2 in the last 7 matchups. Throughout the week, we've been talking with players and coaches from both sides, and one thing's for sure, everyone understands what this rivalry is all about.
Playing in this conference each and every week, it's going to be a battle.
Really physical, really strong, really disciplined team.
The rivalry tradition, it's really cool to be a part of it.
One of the guys on their D-line is one of my great high school friends, so we got a little bit of a personal connection with that one, so I'm definitely going to throw a little bit more into him than some of the other guys, but it's going to be a good competition.
You have a WXOW opponent playing on Saturday against you, and you know, like, we feel like, hey, we're going to get their best shot. We know they are.
And I think everyone's excited, too, to play on TV. I think it's a pretty cool opportunity. We don't get that often.
They're a really solid football team. They're going to be the best one we play this week. I know that.
He's right there. So here's a look at this beautiful Saturday in the Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletics Conference. Obviously, our big game in lacrosse. We're nearing kickoff, and River Falls and Oshkosh both with 4-2 records in conference. That'll be a good one. And the conference champs for the 38th time, mighty Whitewater on the road at winless Stevens Point. And finally, Platteville and Stout battling it out today in the middle of the pack. Well, stay with us. We've got a lot more from the Kai's Chevytown pregame show after this break. Welcome back to the Kai's Chevytown pregame show. Wesley Bashauner has only faced UW-Eau once, but the Blugolds head coach plans to be part of the rivalry for a long time. Nick Tabbert asked Bashauner how he's settling in despite plenty of challenges from the pandemic.
I love it here. I think it's great. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to raise your family. It's a great place to go to school. It's a great place to work. A lot of people are just really good people here, and I respect that and enjoy that a ton.
Your energy.
Sure.
And your passion. When I see you at practice, at games, it seems like you're always moving, you're always clapping, you're always staying positive. Where did that come from?
I think it came from my parents. Obviously my high school coaches, my brothers, just the people I've interacted with, my college coaches. I think just a little bit of everybody. That's what we're looking for out of our players, to be the same guy and be the best version of themselves every single day. And I think if they do that, you're going to see the fruits of our labor.
How tough has the last 2 years been, just navigating the pandemic? You're still very new to campus.
Sure. You're thinking going into year 2, you're like, okay, here we go. We got some pieces back, and obviously then the pandemic hits and it's a little bit different. There's no qualms about that, but I like our players a lot, and I look forward to what our coaches are doing, and just we got to continue to grow and get a little bit better.
What's it like for you on the sideline when you see Austin Buell break a big one?
It's pretty exciting. I'm not gonna lie. I try and catch him sometimes. I'm not as fast as him anymore. So first 2 steps, I think I can still be with him. It's after that though. No, it's impressive. Our guys know it. They see it.
And lacrosse head coach Matt Janis has created a culture within his program that goes beyond the football field. They call it the experience, and it's making its way into the lacrosse community as one player is striving to make sports more inclusive.
Right one to the left. Anderson in the backfield. He's wide open. They're going to throw in the middle field, and it's intercepted. Rusty Murphy makes
Murphy is a leader on the defense, and now he's found a way to lead in the lacrosse community.
I think it's just a snowball effect of like keeping people on the right path, which is the most important thing ever.
Senior Rusty Murphy recognizes what being a part of this program has done for his development as a person.
I figured, I got another year of school left, and it was in the middle of kind of COVID and everything was shut down, so I had time on my hands to really, put the work in and kind of start from the ground up.
Working out at a local high school, Murphy saw a need for sports equipment as kids were playing football without cleats.
My biggest thing was I just want to make sure that, every kid has the chance to play sports, no matter what their situation is, whether it's, economically, fiscally.
So Rising Athletes was born.
We like to do our best to make sure that, kids are staying in the game. Some people can't afford $100 here, $200 there, because I know I couldn't. So just making sure that everybody has access to that equipment was really important to me.
Rising Athletes has held fundraisers at UW-Eau football games. Their goal is to help kids get the proper sporting gear.
Realizing how important that time was, when I was playing sports, keeping me out of trouble, keeping me active, all the benefits that come from sports. So really just wanted to make sure that, I could make an impact in the area here by doing something as little as, starting a fund where people can donate to and we can disperse that money to the right people.
With Murphy's ambition to help others, Coach Matt Janis says he's the perfect example of what it means to play football at UW-Lacrosse.
It was about using these years to develop, to grow, to interact, and that's exactly what Rusty's done over his career here.
Murphy graduates in December and hopes to continue the Rising Athletes charity. To donate, visit risingathletes.org. We'll stay with us after the break. Scott Emmerich and Nick Tabbert will preview today's matchup between the Eagles and Blugolds with key players to watch. We'll be right back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Kai's Chevytown pregame show. I'm Scott Emmerich along with Nick Tabbert, ready to call the action for you for today's game. We're about 20 minutes away from kickoff between Eau Claire and La Crosse, and we have some breaking news for you we need to pass along. UW-Eau starting quarterback Jacob Parks will not play today. He has a neck strain, according to UW-Eau head coach Matt Janis, suffered in last week's game against Whitewater. So Cade Garcia, a junior from Whitefish Bay, will be the starter today at quarterback for UW-Eau. Certainly something to keep an eye on. Now, Garcia has some playing experience from earlier in this year, and he has plenty of weapons to throw at Eau Claire today as well. It starts with their rushing attack and running back Joey Stutzman. Stutzman is second in the WIAC in rushing with 1,038 yards. He also has 11 total touchdowns. The junior from Lake Zurich, Illinois, is the 8th player in school history to surpass the 1,000-yard mark rushing. And the Eagles can also throw it effectively. Jake Simonchek leads the way. In fact, he leads the conference in catches with 61 this season. He has 8 touchdowns to go with that. Simonchek is also an outstanding kick returner. He's returned both a kick and a punt for touchdowns this season. Defensively, the Eagles getting contributions from many, but the man who spearheads it all is the middle linebacker, Rusty Murphy. Murphy has been a big play machine throughout his career. The senior has returned blocked kicks and fumbles for scores. The senior from Cudahy is closing out his career in style. And Nick, those are just some of the key players to keep an eye on for UW-Eau. Eau Claire coming in with a record of 3-6, but they got some explosiveness on their side too, don't they?
This is going to be a treat because we have the top 2 running backs in the WIAC squaring off, and with this quarterback news, the pressure, I think, is on both of these guys to deliver. With the Blugolds, they want to run the ball, and they've got a bulldozer in Austin Belot, the Neenah native, one of those super seniors that chose to come back after the COVID season. He leads the WIAC in rushing and needs just a slight opening to break one to the house. He has 10 rushing touchdowns this season. He ran for over 200 yards last week. Next for the Blugolds, freshman quarterback Harry Rubidoux. UW-Eau Claire believed he would play at some point this season. He took over the starting job from Jonathan Malik in Game 5 against UW-Stout. He's been inconsistent, 10 passing touchdowns but 9 interceptions, but he has shown flashes, and that's why Coach Bashawner continues to start him. Finally for Eau Claire, kicker Brady Frantel. The freshman has missed 1 kick all season long, an extra point last week. He is 10 for 10 in field goals. Shout out to the entire special teams unit, really. The long snapper Cole Dunbar, holder Trey Fitzgerald, they are freshmen as well. So the Blugolds feel really confident in this very young group.
The special teams can certainly bring peace of mind to a head coach. What do you look for with Eau Claire today?
Turnovers. 15 in the last 5 games. That is why I think they've lost 5 games in a row.
And turnovers have been key on UW-Eau's side. They have created 17 this season, about 2 per game. That'll do it for our pregame show. Here, we'll send it back to Declan Levy for more after this short timeout.
Welcome back to the pregame show. Carson Park in Eau Claire has hosted this rivalry for many years, but that could change. UW-Eau Claire has aspirations of moving football games back to campus. The Simpson Field renovation project reached a major milestone earlier this fall. Phase 1 project donors, as well as UW-EC Chancellor James Schmidt, were on hand for a special ceremony where plans for continued upgrades to the facility were shared that include 2,000 visitor seats, 5,000 home seats, press boxes, and additional parking. None of it would be possible without the help of those donors.
It's unbelievable. I'm standing on this new football field, and I'd give anything just to run a few more plays on this field. But the kids are lucky, and I think they'll probably realize it once the whole facility is finished.
These donors have stepped up with hundreds of thousands of dollars of gifts to make all of this possible. This has been done entirely with private money, and it's important to say thank you and give them a chance to hear what a difference it makes directly from the student athletes, the coaches, and some of the fans who've really appreciated this.
Along with the matching grant, the university hopes to raise $400,000 to install new grandstands by spring. And here's a sneak peek at a story we will be bringing you at halftime. Blugolds fans unable to watch today's game will likely tune in to Scott Montesano on the radio. Scott has crafted his play-by-play style over the years with a focus of telling a story.
Anybody can go onto their phone and get the score. They can get the score of the game. So why listen? I want them to come join the broadcast and feel as though they're sitting with a friend and listening to a ball game with them.
Stay tuned to halftime. We will tell you how Scott got his start in the booth, his philosophy on calling games, and the pride he takes in being the voice of the Blugolds. Well, stay with us. We'll be right back on the Kai's Chevytown pregame show. Welcome back to the Kai's Chevytown pregame show. As we've talked about, the UW-Eau Eagles come into the final game of the season with a 7-2 record. Let's take a look at how they got here. UW-Eau started the season hot. After a big Week 1 win on the road, the Eagles hosted a football game at Roger Herring Stadium for the first time in 672 days. They gave the crowd a show, 421 yards of offense, 22 first downs, and their new quarterback Jacob Parks looked right at home, throwing for 236 yards and 2 touchdowns. UW-Eau took down Dubuque 38-7. But then the real challenge came. UW-Eau would travel 8 hours to play one of the best Division II schools in the nation, Grand Valley. The Eagles pounced, getting out to a 14-7 lead after the first quarter, but the D2 powerhouse ended up winning 45-24. It was a game the Eagles learned a ton from. Come October, it was time to get into conference play, and the Eagles took care of River Falls with a commanding 45-23 victory. Their next task was the number 9 ranked team in the country, Oshkosh. Underdogs at home, the Eagles outscored the Titans 23-0 in the second half to win 30-21. It was the first 2-0 start in conference since 2017. The next game caught the attention of over 1 million people on social media. On the road at Platteville, the Eagles found themselves on the verge of a loss. The Platteville quarterback had to spike the ball to stop the clock and hit the game-winning field goal, but he kneeled the ball instead, resulting in a run-out clock. Eagles squeak out a 1-point victory. They learned wins don't come easy in the hardest conference in football, so after their 9th straight win over Stout, it was on to Stevens Point where they went wild. UW-Eau finished with the 56-3 routing, a season-high 606 yards of offense, including 342 yards on the ground. It was their first 5-0 start in conference since 1996. And that leads us to last week. The Eagles were ranked 13th in the nation. They were on the road to play the number 3 ranked Whitewater Warhawks. UW-Eau lost the one-score battle 13-7 and are now chomping at the bit in their final regular season game of the year. And the Blugolds were a few plays away from a 4-0 start, but entered today's game on a 5-game slide. Let's now review the Blugolds season.
It was a record-setting start to the season for UW-Eau Claire. Austin Belot broke free twice for long touchdown runs and 365 rushing yards. A school record in a win over Luther.
Coach came up to me on the sideline and told me that I was, I think, like 1 yard away, and I was like, okay. And I mean, I'm not gonna put anything at risk, but he was like, let's go get it. So I was like, let's go.
After a win at Loras College in Week 2, the Blugolds dropped a close game at Albion College in Michigan, letting a second-half lead slip away. But UW-Eau Claire bounced back in the WXOW opener, a 25-15 win at UW-Stevens Point, putting the Blugolds at 3-1. The war on 94 was next, and Harry Rubidoux made his first career start. Both offenses aired it out, but a 3-yard run gave UW Stout the 38-34 win.
Take the lead with like 7 minutes left, eat a lot of clock. Just got finished with touchdown. We finished with touchdowns a little bit different.
That loss was the first of 5 in a row. Turnovers hurt the Blugolds' chances against UW River Falls, UW Oshkosh, and UW Whitewater. Last week on Senior Day, Belot broke free for another long run, but UW-Eau Claire could not stop UW Platteville's passing game in a 55-28 loss, bringing the Blugolds' record to 3-6.
Well, that's how they got here, and let's not wait any longer. Kickoff is up next. Enjoy the game.
On a cool and crisp afternoon, or late morning, I should say, from Herring Stadium in La Crosse in the shadows of Grandad Bluff, welcome to WIAC football. UW La Crosse and UW-Eau Claire getting set to kick things off here from Roger Herring Stadium. I'm Scott Emmerich, along with Nick Tabert, the sports director at WQOW 18 in Eau Claire. We're so glad you could join us here for a game that has big meanings for both teams, Nick. First of all, for La Crosse, they feel that if they get a win, they will be in as far as the NCAA Division III playoffs. They feel that their strength of schedule and their quality of wins is good enough for them to get an at-large berth into the NCAA playoffs. If they do, it would be their first trip to the playoffs since 2006. So a highly motivated UWL team. Nick, on the other side, Eau Claire comes in at 3-6, and head coach Wesley Bishoner, they're kind of looking for a signature win for their program, aren't they?
They are. They started this season off 3-1, and a 5-game losing streak has really changed the feeling of this season. The Blugolds feel they have played much better than their record. They've played with such intensity, such physicality every week, but turnovers have really killed them down the stretch here this season. They want to end this season, send their seniors out in style with a big-time upset.
And of course, the big news, in case you're just joining us and missed the early part of our pregame show, UWL starting quarterback Jacob Parks will not play today. He suffered a neck strain in the game last week against Whitewater, so junior Cade Garcia will step to the forefront and be taking snaps under center for UWL today, his first career start. You know, this is the 88th meeting between these two teams, UWL and Eau Claire. The Eagles have won the last 3 meetings, including back in 2019, 42-7 in the last meeting. And last time the Blugolds won in La Crosse, back in 2013, the Blugolds walked away with a 24-21 win in this one. You're getting a look at the flip of the coin, with the Blugolds making the call. And it looks like the Blugolds have, let's listen in.
Eau Claire won the toss. The receive. Shake hands, man.
All right, so the Blugolds will begin the game on offense on senior day here in La Crosse. And Nick, this is kind of a unique kind of senior day for both of these two teams, especially because they didn't play last year.
A lot of players had to alter their academic timeline so they could stick around on campus, come back for an extra year. A lot of players I've spoken to said it was all worth it just to be able to end their football careers the way they wanted to.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to both coaches this week, and Matt Janis told me there were about 13 players, seniors, who decided, you know what, I'm going to stick around and come back, many of them for a 5th year in school, and many of them looking forward to graduating and then sticking on and taking on more school. Same for Eau Claire. Wesley Bishoner said it was an easy decision when it was brought up to some of the seniors from last year. They wanted to come back. They knew right away that they were going to have a good senior group coming back. All right, so we're ready to go here for the opening kickoff. La Crosse moving right to left. There is a bit of a breeze out there today on this cool day. And that breeze is blowing from the near sideline to the far sideline. So we'll see if the wind has any kind of role in this game. But Ryan Byrne is teeing it up for La Crosse, and he'll send it deep. Will Adair and David Antoine back deep to return for the Blugolds as we get underway here at Herring Stadium. Byrne with the approach, and here we go. Taken from the 1-yard line. Through a hole, this is Adair with some room. He takes it across the 30 to the 33, and that'll set up the Eau Claire offense, led by quarterback Harry Rubidoux. 10 touchdown passes to 9 interceptions on the season. Austin Belot, the WIAC's leading rusher, 1,330 yards coming into this one. The receivers are Nick Kudik, Bryson Freilich, and Darius Jones. The tight end is Joe Swanson. Up front, the starting 5 from right to left: Seth Mitchell, Jake Thompson, Nick Burton at center, Cordell Ron, and Drew Schrader is your left tackle. 1st and 10, Blugolds from their own 33. Here's a fake. Rubidoux looking to throw, has his man wide open as the tight end Swanson. Swanson with a big gainer, now cuts it back upfield, and he's going to go the distance. Joe Swanson on the first play of the game. He goes 67 yards, and the Blugolds grab the lead, his 5th touchdown catch of the season.
Could you ask for a better start if you are UW-Eau Claire? An early completion, a safe completion, and it turns into a big game. Joe Swanson, your team's leading receiver, makes a move, takes it to the house. What a start for UW-Eau Claire.
And now the Blugolds here on the extra point. Now will decide to set up and kick it with Brady Frontal. Boy, a shocker to start this game as the Blugolds looking to spring an upset. The extra point is good, and the Blugolds on the first play of the game jump out to a 7-0 lead. Well, here's another look at it here, and it just looked like Swanson was roaming free. Let's look at the extra point. I don't know if we can go back to the touchdown pass, but Harry Rubidoux with his 11th touchdown pass of the season. And there's a look at the kick return there by Will Adair, which set up the Blugolds in good field position.
Everything went right here, right? You had a really nice return. Blugolds have had some success with their special teams units. They like to put a lot of their skill players, their playmakers, out on special teams. Gave them good field position, which allowed Wesley Bashauner to call that particular play to hit Swanson for the big game. I think everyone in the stadium was expecting Austin Belot to get that ball on the first play from scrimmage. And wow, what a start for UW-Eau Claire.
All right, so now it's on the Eagles to respond, and big plays on defense have been a bit of an issue. They have given up some yards on defense, although they have relied on turnovers to kind of turn the tide, but the Blugolds stung them there on the first play of the game, and so now Frontal will do the kicking off for Eau Claire, and back deep to return for La Crosse, the dangerous Jake Simonchek, wearing number 22. He already has a touchdown return on a kickoff and a punt this season for the Eagles. And he averages 25 yards per return. So we'll see what Frontal does here on the kickoff, see if they test Simonchek early. Short little pop-up taken by one of the up men. And here's a nice return. Taken out across midfield. That is number 77. And it is Andrew Malpas returning. I beg your pardon, 37 it was. And that is Ben Michalowski with a nice return there. So a great start for the Eagles in great field position, as the Blugolds did not want to test Simonchek deep. And here is Cade Garcia making his first start for the Eagles, coming out at quarterback. 11 of 18 on the season with 2 interceptions and 4 touchdown passes. He did play earlier in the season during took important snaps, I should say, during the non-conference. Now Garcia on the first play finds his receiver, and that is a catch and a gain close to a first down, and that is Jack Studer. Let's set up the La Crosse offense for you. I mentioned the quarterback, Cade Garcia. The running back is Joey Stutzman. The receivers, Cam Sorensen, Jake Simonchek, and Ryan Bartol, as well as Jack Studer. And the tight end is Will Jostin. Up front, right to left, Mike Bertoya, Cole Greco, Alex Bongers is the center, Ben Hildebrand, and Noah Coleman at left tackle. Second down for the Eagles from the Eau Claire 41. Another quick toss out here. Garcia gets Simonchek. Simonchek breaks free, and he has first down yardage down to the Blugold 33-yard line. Jake Simonchek, the WXOW leading receiver, 61 catches coming into this one, 774 yards. Declan Levy standing by downfield side. He has some more information for us. Declan? No, apparently not. We'll check in with Declan momentarily here. First and 10 Eagles from the Eau Claire 34-yard line. Shotgun snap to Garcia. Garcia looking deep. And this one is intercepted in the end zone. It's Sam Brzezinski. And the first turnover of the game belongs to the Blugolds. And another big momentum changer.
Brzezinski leads the Blugolds in interceptions. That is his third now of the season. And again, you could not ask for a better start for the Blugolds. They get a big play on on offense, and now a turnover on defense.
Well, let's take another look at it. It looked like double coverage back there too, and Brzezinski, one of the experienced guys on that defense, played that one perfectly.
Yeah, 2 guys back there. Really, that ball, I don't think had a chance to reach the Eagles receiver. Little too much underthrown there.
All right, so what a start for Eau Claire. 1st and 10 now from their own 20-yard line. And here's the handoff on the end around. That is Nick Kudik, the receiver, taking the handoff. That'll set up a second down. Let's set up the lacrosse defense for you here. Up front, it is Jack Anderson, Josh Dorschner, Ryan Gengler, and Jack Callie, the front 4. The linebackers, AJ Spichala, Rusty Murphy in the middle, and Ryan Daines. And the defensive backs, Max Duco and Max Brower are the corners. The safeties are Elijah Alt and Trevor Helland. We'll take a timeout. Blugolds with an injured player. We'll be right back. Jake Thompson, the injured Blugold offensive lineman, helped off the field.
Yeah, a freshman from Chippewa Falls. Young right side of the line for the Blugolds, but Jake's had a great season. Hopefully he can get back in this game.
Riley Bauer, number 72, is checked in at right guard for the Blugolds. 2nd and 5 from their own 25. A little quick hitter is caught, and that is Darius Jones. And he spins away, and he has first down yardage up ahead to the 32-yard line. Darius Jones with his first reception of the game.
Harry Rubidoux looks very comfortable right now. Obviously, when you hit for a 67-yarder on your first pass of the day, that's going to calm the nerves a little bit. But I think this is important for the Blugolds early because the Eagles are going to hone in or key in on Austin Belot. So the more Harry can do with his arm, the better for the Blugolds.
Belot is the single setback, set up behind Rubidoux on 1st and 10 from the 32. Kudik in motion. He's going to throw again. Looking deep down the field. And this one is caught. Another terrific catch and a big gainer, and there is a flag on the play. That is Joe Swanson again, the tight end. And the Eagles haven't had a chance to figure him out. Let's see what the flag's all about. And it looks like the Blugolds are walking the other way, and Coach Bashan are not happy about that. Let's listen in.
Pass interference. Offense, number 81. 15 yards to the previous spot. Still first down.
Well, that may explain why Joe Swanson was so wide open on that play. A little push off downfield. So a big play turns the other way, and so that'll set up a 2nd and long for the, first and long for the Eau Claire Blugolds.
Swanson's a big boy. Tough to slow down, but just a little too handsy on that one, I think.
Pushes the ball all the way back to the 17-yard line. Still first down. And again, a fake. And then wide open in the middle and a completion and another nice gain. That is Bryson Freilich. He gains the yards lost by the penalty, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 10. And I tell you what, Harry Rubidoux coming out on fire here. We haven't even talked about Austin Belot yet.
Yeah, it helps when he's getting the ball fast, too. I think Wesley Bashaner wants to get him in a rhythm early, some nice, easy completions. But I would say the Blugolds are doing a great job of getting open. Maybe the Eagles need to play some tighter coverage here.
Rubidoux 3 of 3 so far for 90 yards in this game. 2nd and 10, and now we have a timeout. Wesley Bashaner didn't like how things were developing on that play. So with 11-12 to go in the first quarter, Blugolds leading 7-0. We'll take a timeout as well. We'll be right back. 11-12 to go here in the first quarter. We haven't even played 4 minutes, and already a lot of fireworks. A long touchdown pass for the Blugolds, and then an interception in the end zone by Eau Claire. And the Blugolds have it right now, 2nd and 9 from their own 33.
think it's only a matter of time until Belot gets involved here.
Pass, Rubidoux. That one was a bit low, intended for Jones, and that'll set up a 3rd and long.
I like the protection, though. Rubidoux has time to throw. You know, on that pass interference call, he had enough time to deliver that ball downfield, well downfield. O-line's doing a great job, especially now with the injury up front, to give Harry some time. First 3rd down of the game, though.
Eau Claire offense converting on 37% of their 3rd downs on the season. 3rd and 9 here from their own 33. Swanson in motion now. Blitz coming. Rubidoux to the sideline, overshoots his receiver, and that was intended for Kudik, and that'll set up a 4th down, and the pressure probably played a role in that one, Nick.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are going to have to do a little bit more of that. They can't just let Rubidoux sit back there and deliver the ball quickly. I think that's going to be the success here. Maybe get Rubidoux uncomfortable, because as we talked about in the pregame show, he's been inconsistent this season. He's only a freshman. He's only got a handful of starts here.
Nate Baranek to punt with Simonchek back deep to return for the Eagles. End over end. Simonchek comes up, catches it, and gets nailed right away at the 34-yard line. And that was Connor Miller making the tackle immediately. Declan Levy, let's check in with you on the sidelines. You staying warm down there?
Well, Scott and Nick, finally some football weather, huh, guys? Well, as you've mentioned, UWL starter QB is out after neck soreness after the Whitewater game. So in comes Cade Garcia, and a big concern here coming into today. Well, Garcia only threw the ball 18 times and had 2 receptions. Parks has thrown it 236 times this year to 4 receptions. So turnovers can be costly, as we've seen already. Here, Joey breaks out a big run. Nick,
Thanks a lot, Declan. Joey Stutzman with the first explosive play of the game for UW-Eau, a big gainer into blue gold territory. Here's another look.
Well, this is what we thought we were going to see early in this game, is both of our top 2 running backs. Nice blocking up front, springs them. Both of these guys, Belot and Stutzman, only need a sliver of daylight to turn a run into a big game.
First down, Eagles. Stutzman again probing the middle. Brings it inside the 20 to about the 19-yard line. A short gain on first down. And let's set up that Eau Claire defense for you while we have a chance. Up front, the front 4 of Vic Martinelli, Thomas Kroyman, Bryson Wilkins, and A.J. Fermanek. Alex Mashik, Noah Nephew, and Spencer Van Petersum, who leads the WIAC in sacks, wearing number 52, are the linebackers. Brandon Hoovey and Carmelo Rosado are the corners. Sam Brzezinski and Ryan Keekley are the safeties. On second down, Stutzman again through a hole to the corner, and this is going to be a touchdown. Joey Stutzman from 19 yards out, and the Eagles get the equalizer.
A little different approach this time on this end of the field. Instead of going for it all on the post route, they turn to Stutzman. Again, nice blocking up front. Stutzman really untouched here. Makes one man miss, and he's to the house.
That was an all Joey Stutzman drive that time. He carried 3 times for 65 yards, including that 43-yard run to start the drive. The extra point is good by Ryan Byrne, and we're back to even, tied at 7 here in the first quarter.
Well, after the shock of the first play from the Blugolds, nice response from the Eagles here. They get the stop on defense, and as you mentioned, all Stutzman. It doesn't take long for the Eagles to move the ball, and we've got a tie game.
Well, Joey Stutzman, a junior, came into this game with 10 touchdowns rushing. That, of course, will be his 11th. He has 12 touchdowns on the season, ranking among the conference's leaders. So, a big turn of events there. The Eagles regaining some momentum. We'll see how the Blugolds respond. As you get a look at head coach Matt Janis getting his special teams unit out onto the field, and Ryan Byrne, kicker from West Salem. I know somebody else here in the booth from West Salem. Nick Tabbert, I know you take a little pride of those West Salem Panthers, and how about the season they have there, your friend Justin Yane turning things around.
Yeah, they ran into a really good Northwestern squad And the team that they played earlier in the season, Ellsworth, is going to state this next week. So another great season from the Panthers. Yeah, really love what Justin Yane's doing over there.
Yeah, great Saturday of football here and a great week coming up here with the high school state finals coming up at Camp Randall on Thursday and Friday. Ryan Byrne has it all teed up. And Will Adair and David Antoine back deep to return. A little squibber here. And who decides to pick it up? It is the Blugolds, and taking it across the 30 to about the 32-yard line. And that's where they'll begin their third drive of the game. Third possession for Eau Claire. We have yet to see Austin Belot carry the ball. But you know, La Crosse comes into this game, one of their vulnerabilities is pass defense. The Eagles rank 7th in the conference in pass defense. They gave up the long touchdown to Swanson on the first play of the game. Could be part of the strategy for Coach Bishoner.
Oh, I think it's a huge part of the strategy because, like you mentioned, there are opportunities there. I think the key is Roubidou and staying comfortable, getting the ball out quickly.
Here's Belot with his first carry of the game. Does not find much up the middle, a gain of about 2 on the play. Austin Belot, boy, I tell you what a season this guy is having. Set a school record, 365 yards rushing against Luther earlier this year, and he has been the bell cow, to say the least, for the Blugolds.
And just like Stutzman, he does not need much of an opening to turn maybe what you would think is a 3-4 yard gain into a 60, 70 yard gain, or even take it to the house. He's done that multiple times, including one last week.
2nd and 8. Roubidou over the middle. Overthrows Belot that time, coming out of the backfield. And he was covered by A.J. Spichala, the linebacker. So it'll bring up a 3rd and long situation for the Blugolds.
Looked like Belot didn't have his head turned, maybe some miscommunication on the timing of that route. Luckily, it was not intercepted there.
So on 3rd and 8, Harry Roubidou bringing his team to the line of scrimmage. After connecting on his first 3 passes, he has missed on his last 3.
Joe Swanson in motion. Let's see if they try to find him again.
Little quick hitter to Adair that time, and he couldn't come up with it. So another 3rd down stop for the Eagles, and Nate Baranek will come in. Blugolds forced to punt.
Opportunity's still there for the Blugolds, but Roubidou not quite as sharp with his passes. A number have been off the mark here, and that's why the Eagles are getting the ball back.
Yeah, 4 straight incompletions now for Roubidou, so perhaps some adjustments by the Eagles defensively playing a role in that. Well, Baranek, his 2nd punt of the game. That one almost blocked. Another end-over-end kick. Simonchik has it from his own 35. Simonchik breaking free. And he takes it up near midfield, and that's where the Eagles will take over 1st and 10, their 3rd possession of the game. 8:53 to go, first quarter, in a tie game.
Great field position again for the Eagles. Let's see if they can ride Stutzman to another score.
Yeah, Stutzman carried the ball all 3 times on that last touchdown drive, going 65 yards. You have to figure, you know, with a first-time starter at quarterback, and that has to kind of loosen things up a little bit offensively to get him going and help the young quarterback in Cade Garcia.
Oh, these experienced running backs are going to be the quarterback's best friend today, both sides.
Stutzman trying to get outside, and that time defended nicely by the Eau Claire defense. Vic Martinelli making a big play.
He's battled some injuries this year, but he is an all-conference type player when he is healthy. He is an anchor of this defense on the end.
Vic Martinelli wearing number 0. One of those 6th-year seniors. You don't see that too often. All-conference player from 2019. Could have graduated and moved on, but just wanted to stay a part of the program and help Coach Bishoner build something special.
Love the culture of this year's team. A lot of passionate players.
Simonchik makes a nifty move, adds a couple more yards to it, and picks up about 10, and that'll set up a 3rd and short situation for the Eagles near midfield. Here's another look at it.
Plenty of time, good protection, nice move there.
Tell you what, Simonchik is on ice skates sometimes, it seems.
Well, if we're talking about third downs, this is the first one for UW-Eau here. They're converting 50%, just about 51%. That leads the WXOW.
Best third down conversion team in the conference, 3rd and 2 here. This may be 4-down territory. Stutzman up the middle, has the first down inside the 40 to about the 39, a gain of 4, and nothing real fancy there then.
Nope, give it to your bell cow, let him lower the shoulder, and pile for 3. Blugolds second best in the conference in third down defense, so that could be an interesting matchup. You know, can this front 4 of the Blugolds get the penetration maybe to stop Stutzman or bring some pressure and maybe force a mistake from the young quarterback?
First down from the 39.
Blugolds look a little unsure here on coverage.
Blitz coming with Van Peterson, lobs it up for Simonchek, but Garcia overthrew him just a tad, and you wonder if Van Peterson and his pressure played a role in that.
No worries though if you're the Eagles. You gotta be balance, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You gotta keep these Blugold linebackers and defensive backs honest, not to crowd the box too much. Give Stutzman some more room to work with here.
2nd and 10. Stutzman up through the middle. Stutzman near first down yardage inside the 30-yard line. Another good gain before he was finally brought down on the play.
Love the patience too.
Noah Nephew made the tackle, but it didn't come until after a gain of 9 yards. So another third down situation here for La Crosse. And as you mentioned, the Eau Claire defense, even though they've given up some big yards and some big plays, they have been pretty good on third down. Let's see what happens here on this 3rd and 1.
It's been chunk plays for this defense most of the season.
Will Johnston lining up in the backfield, normally a tight end, sort of like a lead fullback. And there's a handoff is to Stutzman, who bobs and weaves his way for about 3 and a first down. So the drive continues for La Crosse. 1st and 10 from the Eau Claire 27-yard line with 6:10 to go in the first quarter.
Ryan Keekley, a freshman safety, he was up, almost had a chance at that tackle, but able to break through it with Stutzman.
On 1st and 10, Garcia rolling. Little quick hitter, and that one's high, intended for Ryan Byrne that time. Had him open, but just a little bit too much on that. Brandon Hoovey with the coverage.
I like getting him out of the pocket, though. Give him some time. See his receiver. Not a lot of bodies in the way. All these little things I think are going to help these young quarterbacks settle in.
Garcia does have some experience. It was a point of emphasis for Coach Janis to get Garcia some playing time in those non-conference games earlier in the season. And I'm talking about not just mop-up duty, but in the middle of the game when the plays have a little bit more meaning to it. So,
and he played well against UW-Stevens Point a couple weeks ago.
Here's the handoff to Stutzman. Breaking to the outside. Ooh, coming up and meeting him and making a terrific tackle. That time is Ryan Keekley from his safety position, and that holds a Stutzman to a gain of just about a yard.
That time he wasn't going to get fooled on the approach on the tackle.
And Stutzman shaking off some cobwebs on that.
And Peterson making the tackle, brings up 3rd down.
Keekley, a transfer from St. Cloud State. You may remember, Nick, a couple years ago, St. Cloud State dissolved their program, a Division II program, and a lot of those good Division II players from St. Cloud State matriculated over to the WIAC. La Crosse has a couple of those players on their roster as well. So 3rd and long now from the 27-yard line. Garcia has time. Well, quick hitter Simonchek. Simonchek with some running room. Simonchek trying to break it to the outside, and he comes up short of the first down. And too bad for La Crosse that time, because I think if he just kind of kept following his blockers, he may have had to pick up the first down rather easily. But Simonchek, you know, he's a home run hitter. He was going for the big play.
Yeah, the ice skate needed to go to the left a little bit more rather than the right. But this is 4-down territory here.
Yeah, right about there, you thought, boy, if he just cuts it up there, he might pick up the first down, but a good pursuit there and an excellent tackle by Eau Claire. So now 4th and 2. The Eagles 4 of 9 on 4th downs this season. Big one coming up here early. And now a whistle comes in. We'll see what we got.
Blugolds are clapping. I think there was maybe a little bit of movement.
Delay a game. The play clock ran out, so that'll set up an interesting decision. 4th and 7. Now, Ryan Byrne does have a good leg for the Eagles. He is along 48 yards, and he actually is coming into the game right now. So the Eagles will attempt a field goal. This will be from 42 yards out. Garcia is the holder. Byrne, 6 of 10 on the season. Hit a 48-yarder earlier in the year.
A little bit of wind, but
plenty of distance on this one, and it is good. Ryan Byrne drills that one, a 42-yard field goal, and the Eagles take a 10-7 lead.
Good drive there. Obviously, you want to get 7, but the momentum clearly with the Eagles now after the shocking start from the Blugolds.
I'll tell you what, it's how comforting is that for a head coach to have a good kicking game. Both these coaches have terrific kicking games, and speaking of kicking, we're going to kick it down to the sidelines where Declan Levy is standing by. Hello, Declan.
Well, Scott and Nick, defensive coordinator for the Brian Whitehead, his message to the defense, back to the defense, that I know we can play, quote, Scott and Nick, after that first possession, big touchdown for Eau Claire to start the game. The UW-Eau defense has gotten a few stops, and it looks like they're living up to coach's orders, guys.
All right, thank you, Nick. Declan, excuse me. Nick's right here next to me. That whole entire casting crew. We got Steve Bland directing our broadcast in the control room there, and great to be with you on this Saturday here. Big game for both these teams here, but especially La Crosse needing a win to be in contention. They feel like they will likely gain an at-large berth into the playoffs. They lead at 10-7, 3:47 to go here first quarter as Ryan Byrne approaches. And this will be Adair on the return. Some room up the middle, and he takes it up to the 29-yard line, and it'll be 1st and 10, Eau Claire. And they have found the going tough after that opening series in which they hit and scored the touchdown on the first play of the game. 2 first downs for Eau Claire in this one, and 97 yards of offense, but 67 of those coming on the first play of the game.
Well, I think they're going to go as Harry Rubidoux goes today. He's been a little off the mark. You mentioned the streak of incomplete passes. Let's see what they can do to get him back in rhythm.
On first down, that's Freilich now in motion. And it's Belot. Belot with a good first down run. Gain of about 9 on the play, and they'll set up 2nd and short. And I think that's kind of the position where the Eau Claire offense wants to operate. 2nd and short, even 2nd and 5 or so.
And tempo here.
Freilich again in motion. Belot again. This time met in the backfield and driven back. Matt Reinfeldt leading the way, wearing number 90 for the Eagles, and he waves a finger, signaling it's 3rd down, I'm sure.
He had a lot of friends there to help him, too. It wasn't just him. That was most of the D-line that was ready to greet Austin Belot behind the line of scrimmage.
All right, so now a 3rd down and 3 yards to go.
Not even thinking about running it here.
Nobody lined up. Now Belot joins Rubidoux in the backfield. Rubidoux finding Belot out of the backfield, and he gets the first down. Got away from the defender on the far side of the field, crosses the 40, and the drive stays alive for the Blugolds.
That's what you want. You want your playmaker out in space with a chance to go get you a first down. Nice move from Belot. Knew where he was going with that. No hesitation, no ice skating to the left or right. Let's just plow forward and get a first down.
His 10th catch of the season.
It'll be interesting to see how long the Blugolds stick with the running game. Obviously, a 3-point game here. They still have all their options, and you want to rely on Belot, I think.
Here's a quick hitter, and that is caught, and a short gain on the play, and that one goes to Ivan Rubel, the backup running back, giving Belot a little bit of a breather that time. A short gain on the play. It'll set up a second down.
WXOW making a tackle for the Eagles, second down.
And you can afford to stay with the running game when you've got someone like Belot that can bust a big-time run. You might get, sad behind the line of scrimmage, a little bit of a loss, but Belot always has that big gain potential.
He's back into the lineup now and takes the handoff. Not a lot of room on that side, and some terrific defense by the Eagles that time. And coming up to make the play on that was Jack Anderson, the defensive end, one of those transfers from St. Cloud State we were talking about.
Yeah, 4 sacks on the season, good penetration there. He was waiting for him.
So 3rd and long now for the Blugolds. From their own 45.
Third down.
Trips to the left. I wonder if they'll try to do some sort of screen. Get that ball up fast.
A little quick hitter caught, and a first down. That is Darius Jones, the defender, going for the interception that time, but a terrific job by Jones to make the catch, and a big gain of about 22 yards on the play, and the Blugolds drive continues.
And that's his strength. He has 18.3 yards per catch. He doesn't get a lot of receptions, but look at that. Makes a man miss. That's what he's so good at. He's good at turning a 6-yard gain into 18 or 20.
That was Rusty Murphy, the middle linebacker, making an attempt at the interception. Jones broke his hand back in training camp, missed the first 3 games, but has come back to have a real nice year for the Blugolds. Here's Belot on first down, trying the right side, and again, it's Anderson making the tackle, coming up all fired up out of that.
I think it's going to be a tough go today if he's trying to go horizontal. I think the Blugolds are going to want to try to get more vertical. If they can get through that first line of defense, maybe Austin can make a couple moves.
And that'll do it. First quarter in the books. Eagles leading 10-7, the Blugolds driving. We'll be right back. Scott Emmerich and Nick Tabbert back with you. Herring Stadium on the campus of the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse on a cool fall November Saturday afternoon. Perfect football weather here for this regular season finale for these two teams. And in case you're just joining us, Eau Claire scored in the first play of the game to jump out to a 7-0 lead. La Crosse has scored the next 10. They lead it right now. Blugolds driving though, 2nd and 8. They're on the La Crosse 35-yard line.
Into the wind now, coming from the northwest here today.
Rubidou rolling. Well, he's got some room to run if he wants. Throws, and is it a catch? It is a terrific catch along the near sideline. That is Isaac Garside, who's really come on of late, making a nice sliding catch.
Just a freshman. Coach Bashauner says he's really been efficient. He's been a nice surprise as a freshman here for the Blugolds.
His 20th catch of the season.
First down, Eau Claire, the 23.
First down, Eau Claire. Their drive continues. Jones in motion. They fake to Belot. Going to the end zone. And it is knocked away at the last second. Good coverage that time. I believe that is Max Brower down there making the defensive play. I'll check that. It is Duco, wearing number 19. Max Duco knocking that one away on a pass intended for Swanson.
Yeah, Swanson had a step there. It looked like he was going to catch that, but a great play at the last second.
Second down.
So 2nd and 10. And again, this could be 4-down territory, even though the Blugolds have a really good kicker, depending on how far that 4th down may be. But we're looking ahead here. 2nd and 10. And now whistles, flags coming in, and we may get somebody jumping for the Blugolds, and indeed it is.
Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Cordell Ron jump that time. And when you're 6'3", 325, you will not go unnoticed if you even make a little bit of a twitch.
You know, I don't know if the Blugolds are going to want to settle for field goals today. I think they're going to want to try to be aggressive, and it really sets them up nicely if they can play from ahead, obviously, and dictate maybe the tempo of this game.
Yeah, agreed. This is a rivalry game, and you know they want to spoil La Crosse's day. Robidoux again, rolling wide open and making the catch, slipping and falling. Otherwise, it could have had a whole bunch more. But a nice gain on the play, and that catch was by Peyton Meyer. I beg your pardon, Ben Reddington, the tight end, making the catch, his 5th catch of the season. Stumbled and fell. The turf monster got him after a gain of about 7.
But he was wide open, Scott. He had so much daylight ahead of him.
And now Robidoux starting to settle back into a rhythm now after starting hot and then going a little bit cold and now warming up a bit. 3rd and 10 from the 2nd and 10, actually, from the 23-yard line. Robidoux hit as he throws, and Jack Kelly got him, and that one falls harmlessly to the turf, and that'll set up a 3rd down.
Pass incomplete, rushed by Jack Anderson.
I beg your pardon, 4th down on the play now. So now this is what we're talking about here. Nick, do the Blugolds keep the foot on the gas and continue to go for here on 4th down? Nope, they bring in the field goal unit. Brady Frantel, who's had an outstanding season. This will be about a 41-yarder, similar to the distance where Byrne hit his moments ago. Ball down, kick on the way. And no good. Missed it wide to the left. So Franto with his first miss of the year. He had come in 10 for 10 on the season, but that's his first miss. And so the Eagles will take over, and they kind of stemmed the tide defensively that time.
Yeah, that's a big stop there. What could have been on that completion out on the right flat, if the turf monster wouldn't have shown up, Blugolds may have been deep inside the red zone.
Eagle first down at the 23.
Keep that in mind, that miss for later in the game. Blugolds have a lot of confidence with their kicking game, but maybe that'll change Bashaner's mind later.
Eagles taking over from their own 23-yard line. Cade Garcia alone in the backfield. 5 receivers split on this play.
Blugolds got torched last week by Platteville in the passing game. I'm a little surprised the Eagles haven't tried to take a shot down the field.
Garcia fumbles the football, and it is recovered by the Blugolds. A turnover and a big play there coming up there for Eau Claire. A terrific play as well as they put the pressure on. And it's Trevor Nelson, who we weren't sure was going to play today because of injury. He recovers the fumble. Martinelli applied the pressure.
We talked about Martinelli. When he is healthy, he is an all-conference type of player. Great penetration there. And then Nelson, who's been battling a knee injury, told me earlier this week he could not miss this game. He has been trying for 2 weeks to get back. And a big play there. The Blugolds are set up inside the 10.
We'll see if the Blugolds can turn this into points.
And that's 2 turnovers now from UW-Eau Claire that they've forced.
Robidoux. Oh, wide open. He can trot in for the touchdown. Completely fooled the Eagle defense, and the Blugolds have retaken the lead.
Well, we've seen him roll out and throw it. Last drive, we thought maybe he should tuck it and run, and there he goes. He listened to you, Scott. Wide open. Couldn't have been any easier for him.
And a major turn of events as the Blugolds continuing to put the pressure on the Crosse, trying to spring an upset.
Well, if I wouldn't have stumbled over my words, this is what I was trying to say. The Blugolds have forced 2 turnovers. Usually they're the ones that are giving the ball away. 2 turnovers, and now they've got the lead back.
The extra point is good, but there's a flag, and we'll check it out. The extra point was good. Could be an offsides penalty on the Crosse.
illegal formation, offense, 5 players in the backfield, 5-yard penalty, retry.
All right, so an illegal formation on that extra point. So Franto will try it again.
He's only missed 1 extra point all season. It came last week against Platteville. But he has been so good as a freshman.
This one is good as well. So Frantel on the money, and the Blugolds lead this one 14-10. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Herring Stadium, and a bit of a shocker here so far with Eau Claire leading this one 14-10. And if you're just joining us, once again, this game means everything to UW-La Crosse as they need a win to get into the playoffs. They will likely receive an at-large berth if they can come up with a win. They've been knocking on the door the last couple of years to get into the playoffs, but just haven't quite kicked it open yet. So a huge game for La Crosse, and of course Eau Claire would love nothing better than to get a signature win under Coach Bashauner in his 2nd season.
Yeah, they're sick of talking about the losing streak. 5 in a row here coming into today.
The up man returning this one again, Michalowski, and this time he's tripped up at the 31-yard line, and that's where the Eagles will take over 1st and 10.
Returned by Michalowski.
Cade Garcia, been a bit of a struggle so far for him at quarterback, taking over for Jacob Parks. 4 of 7 for 32 yards. He has the interception on the opening drive in the end zone, and then a bit careless with the football on that last possession, and coughing it up, giving the Blugolds a scoring opportunity.
Long way to go, though. Only 2 minutes into the 2nd quarter. We've had a lot of action for not a lot of time on this clock.
13-11 to go, 2nd quarter. Bartol on the old toss. Gets a block from Stutzman out front. Bartol turns it up and gains about 7 on that 1st down play, which will officially go down as a pass. And a correction on myself, that's not Bartol, that's Jack Studer.
With a like the play call, though. Get the ball out quick, get ahead of the chains.
2nd down.
Look at it. Blocking downfield there by the tight end, Will Johnston, wearing number 80.
And not going down easily. Spinning, making it harder for that defender to take him to the ground. He got an extra 3 yards on that.
2nd and 3. Stutzman, met by a stone wall. Martinelli leading the way for the Blugolds, and he is having a terrific start to this game.
And 3 seniors on that defensive line for the Blugolds. They take a lot of pride. Those are some of those guys that chose to come back for the extra season. They play with a lot of passion up front.
Martinelli brings up 3rd down.
3rd and about 2.
And how big of a confidence booster would it be for this defense to get the ball right back to the offense, let them go to work again?
Now Garcia's going to run it, and he does sneak up for a 1st down up to the 44-yard line. So Garcia showing off his wheels that time, making the decision to tuck and run, keep the drive alive.
I'm impressed with some of these play calls we've seen. It's been a lot of unique formations, some trickery. At time, hid the ball really well. Had most of the defense fooled on where it was going.
Fake the hand. Here it is. Hand off to Bowman. And Bowman falls forward for about 2 yards on the play. Brant Bowman with the carry. The backup running back, Brad Tobin, was going to be a game-time decision today. He has an injury. Tobin, a terrific backup, 431 yards rushing on the season, but he is a no-go today. Brant Bowman getting the carries behind Stutzman.
Blugolds not making it easy to run the ball here. I know we had that one drive of Stutzman, but they've done a nice job responding after that.
Garcia to the outside. Simonchek almost slipped away, but a terrific tackle. And that keeps it to a short gain on the play.
Yeah, nice job by Hovey there. Sure tackle, wrap him up at the legs, make sure he doesn't go anywhere.
Third down now for La Crosse.
Because if he doesn't make this tackle, don't know if he's down right there 2 yards later. He might have been able to make a move and pick up maybe 10 or 12.
3rd and 2. And now Cade Garcia doesn't like how things are lined up. He calls a timeout, and he'll go over to the sideline and discuss things. We'll take a timeout as well. 9:58 to go, second quarter. Blugolds lead. Scott Emmerich and Nick Tabert back with you. Herring Stadium. Eagles facing a big 3rd down play right here in Blugolds territory.
Let's see if UW-Eau Claire brings some pressure. Get that ball out quicker.
Stutzman lined up in the backfield next to Garcia. They hand it off to Stutzman. Tripped up. Oh, he just squirted ahead, and I think he got first down yardage. Yes, they do give it to him up ahead to the 45-yard line. Somebody got through there into the backfield, Nick, and tripped him up before he got to the line of scrimmage, but great balance.
Yeah, Noah Nephew, linebacker number 24, had a chance to get the tackle here, but he just slips away.
And Petersman in there as well. Looked like it could have got Stutzman. So the drive stays alive. First down from the 45. Garcia taking a shot deep downfield, and it is caught all the way down to the 3-yard line. And a big gainer that time.
What a grab. Contested throw. Had to reach back for it over the defender.
That's Dustin Schultz, a backup tight end wearing number 89. Does not get a whole lot of playing time, but that's his 6th catch of the season. And it couldn't have come at a better time for the Eagles. Down to the 3-yard line, 1st and goal UWL, now with a chance to take the lead.
I was just going to ask you, Scott, when will they take a deep shot?
I never thought they'd give it to the backup tight end, though. Good pursuit by the Eau Claire defense that time, and Stutzman, no gain.
Making the tackle.
Big opportunity for the Blugolds defense. Can you force UWL to settle for field goals today instead of touchdowns? They did not do a very good job of that last week against Platteville. The Pioneers found the end zone every possession of the second half.
2nd and goal. Dump it over the middle. Touchdown Eagles. Jack Studer. UWL climbs back in front. Studer with his 4th touchdown catch of the season. It looked like he just kind of got lost over the middle.
And I think they wanted to go to Stutzman with that ball, but nice patience. Coming back to the middle of the field and seeing, oh, hey, there's a wide open receiver. Nice job. Nice drive from the Eagles.
Extra point is up and good, and UWL back in front, 17-14, 8:27 to go, second quarter. We'll take a timeout. Momentum shifting back to La Crosse now, getting the big play from Garcia to Schultz down to the 3-yard line, then the touchdown pass, Garcia to Studer. Eagles back in front, 17-14, 8:27 to go, second quarter.
I think if you're Eau Claire, though, you'll take this. We weren't sure what we were going to get from Harry Rubidoux coming in and how close this game might be, but they've done a great job hanging in here, and the 2 turnovers have really helped.
Byrne with the kick. Ader coming through, looking for some room. Hit and drilled at the 20-yard line by the Eagles. And
it was a nice special teams play that time. The Blugolds have had pretty good starting field position. They've had some nice lanes to run back. That time, D9.
Cole Danielson making the tackle. Freshman out of Hudson.
We're going football at the 20.
So this is the worst field position of the game so far for the Blugolds. You mentioned Harry Rubidoux. He's been really solid today. 8 of 14, 134 yards passing, touchdown throwing, and a touchdown running.
One of the better halves so far. I know we've got 8 minutes left, but he's looked really sharp.
Belot hit, and he gets only a yard. Coming up from his safety position is Trevor Helen to deliver a blow. And the Eagles have done a good job against Belot. 6 carries, 12 yards so far for the conference's leading rusher.
Needs 170 today to reach 1,500 for the season. He would be just the 3rd Blue Gold to reach that mark, and the 1st since 2000.
Second and 9. Rubidoux with pressure, open, it's Jones. Jones breaking free, and if you could have gotten away from one more guy, you may have taken it the distance. As it is, it's a first down for the Blugolds. Rubidoux delivering the goods again.
Yeah, good protection. Looked at that receiver the whole way, but it worked out. He waited for the right moment to release that ball. If they can do that today, Blugolds are going to be in this till the very end.
First down from their own 42. That was a gain of 21 yards on that pass to Jones, his 3rd catch of the game. Rubidoux. Now the pressure breaks down, and so does Rubidoux. He goes down as well. It'll be a sack for the Eagles, and that is Milcasso de Defo coming in and picking up the sack for a loss. Here's another look.
Yeah, that time the pocket just collapsing at the from the start, I should say. Not just the man that brought him down, but 3 guys in the backfield.
De Defo with his 2nd sack of the season. Loss of 3. Handoff up the middle to Belot. Another short gain. A host of Eagles making the tackle, led by Ryan Daines that time, wearing number 56.
And another 3rd and long upcoming for this Blugolds offense.
We'll call it 3rd and 11.
3rd down.
Rubidoux's had time to throw, and his receivers have done a great job of getting open. So
yeah, with the exception of that last pass, Rubidoux has been very effective in the block, and the protection's been good. Straight back in the pocket now. Over the middle, caught! And first down yardage. Blugolds continue the drive. Another terrific pitch and catch that time, and it's Garside.
This freshman stepping up again. And they only rushed 4 this time. I thought maybe they'd bring an extra body or 2, but they gave Rubidoux time to survey the defense and deliver a good ball.
Quick handoff up the middle to Belot, and he gains a couple.
There is a flag on the play.
I think it's on the Blugolds.
Illegal formation. 5 players in the backfield. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, you know that's going to bother Coach Bashauner. Illegal formation penalties shouldn't be happening in Game 10 of your season.
No, and obviously they just converted on that 3rd down, but the Blugolds, they want to stay ahead of the chains and make life a little easier for Rubidoux and give Belot a chance to maybe go to work a little bit more.
First and 15 now. Belot up the middle. Kelly got a handle, still pushing the pile forward, and finally they blow it dead. at the 37-yard line. A good surge by that Blue Gold offensive line turned a short gain into a gain of 7.
Yeah, it's 1 versus 3 there, and Belot able to push the pile. He runs physical, and here's all the evidence you need. And then, yeah, a couple of his friends come push it in from the back to move it ahead. You know Belot's frustrated. He wants to bust one. He's close.
8 carries for 21 yards so far, but all it takes is one big one, and that'll loosen up the defense. Rubidoux escapes pressure, now throws it deep. Got a receiver open, and it is dropped.
Swanson had it. Oh.
Joe Swanson had it in his fingertips, got past the safeties, and just couldn't quite corral it. It would have been a big play.
Nice ball, too, from Rubidoux.
Elijah Alt back in coverage. I tell you what, they haven't had an answer for Joe Swanson all game.
Blugolds, 3rd down.
3rd and 8. Belot looking for room. Eagles got him corralled, and he loses a couple.
Well played by the Eagles that time.
Reese Jesko leading the way for the Eagles on that, and that sets up a 4th and long.
Probably going for it here.
Well, from the 39-yard line, 2 choices here. You've been able to slice through that UWL secondary pretty well so far. Or you can choose to punt and maybe put the Eagles deep in their own territory. It looks like, the Blugolds are going to go for it. Rubidoux back on the field, calling the play. 4th and 10 now from the La Crosse 39. A potential momentum turning play right here.
Darius Jones, 3 catches already.
The Blugolds 8 of 14 on 4th downs this season, and now a timeout.
Maybe wanted to just look at the formation. Maybe they'll decide to punt here now instead.
Well, if you're just joining us, been a good one so far. First play of the game, Eau Claire scored a 67-yard touchdown pass from Harry Rubidoux to Joe Swanson. Eagles answered quickly with Joey Stutzman scoring on a 19-yard touchdown run to tie it up. Then Ryan Byrne kicked a 42-yard field goal for La Crosse to give the Eagles a 10-7 lead. But then Eau Claire retook momentum. Rubidoux on an 8-yard touchdown run after the Eagles turned it over deep in their own territory. That put Eau Claire back on top, 14-10. The Eagles have since retaken the lead on a Cade Garcia to Jack Studer touchdown pass from 3 yards. And that's where we stand, 17-14. Declan Levy standing by along our sidelines. Declan, what do you got?
Well, guys, coming up on the Kubota halftime report, we caught up with Eau Claire broadcasting legend Scott Montesano, hear about his journey in radio with the Blugolds, plus a one-on-one with the UWL head coach Matt Janis. That and more coming up at halftime. Scott and Nick.
Thank you, Declan. So it's 4th and 10.
Jones at the bottom of your screen.
Eagles send 6. Rubidoux, ball knocked free. It's loose. Picked up by the Eagles. And they have it, and they turn the Blugolds away.
Yeah, coming off that edge.
Josh Dorschner scooped up the fumble, and knocking it free was Ryan Daines. And now the Eagles are in business.
The Westby native making a big play on a 4th down. You can't just let Harry Rubidoux sit back there and be comfortable, right? They had to send some pressure. Great job getting around that edge, making a play.
Well, they heard you, Nick. A couple of plays on that drive where Rubidoux had time. He was able to pick apart that La Crosse defense, but they brought the blitz that time. Forced the turnover.
And still 3 minutes to go before half. Plenty of time for the Eagles to go down and get some more points.
Here's Stutzman in the Blue Gold territory for a short gain of 3. 3 minutes exactly now to go until halftime.
And I believe the Eagles have 2 timeouts. The Blugolds have 1 left here. Maybe don't want to be in a huge hurry. You don't want to give Eau Claire another chance at it. take your time, move the sticks, and punch it in for 6 right before the halftime.
You see the timeouts on the lower right part of your screen. The Eagles with 2, Eau Claire with 1, 2nd and 7. Stutzman again, turns it up. Stutzman close to a first down. It's going to be 3rd down at the Eau Claire 43-yard line. Now a little bit more tempo for the Eagles with 2:17 to go in the second quarter.
Stutzman not happy about something. Maybe some confusion on the play call here.
Or maybe he just wants the offense to pick up the pace a little bit. Now at 2 minutes to go until halftime. Eagles kind of taking their time lining up. Stutzman through a hole, first down yardage. Still pushing his way down to the 35-yard line. The clock will stop with the first down. 1:45 now left until halftime.
Maybe he was saying, hey, just line it up and hand me the ball. Let me go get you a first down.
Clock starts now, 1:30 to go from the 35. Little quick toss out to Simonchik. One blocker out in front. Simonchik out of bounds after a gain of about 4 yards on the play. Stutzman, by the way, 14 carries, 102 yards in this game. He has gone over the 100-yard mark in 8 of the 10 games now this season for the Eagles.
Yeah, he's had a fantastic season, and I know we kind of led into this broadcast saying we've got the top 2 running backs in the WXOW here. Stutzman's clearly had the better showing so far.
Clock has stopped, 1:23 to go until halftime. From the 31. It's Stutzman. Whoa, a great little bounce. Inside the 15, down to the 12. I'll tell you what, Nick, there was nothing there. The Blue Gold defense had that one bottled up, but Stutzman, with a little hesitation, turned it into a big gainer.
And some patience here. He's got that hand out to get some stability and saw the opening, and like we talked about, it doesn't take much for both of these running backs to find that crease and turn it into a big gain.
1:15 to go until halftime. The Eagles knocking on the door again from their own 12. Stutzman. Short gain of about a yard.
Good vision there to bounce that out to the right side early. Blugolds were sending a lot of bodies up the middle.
Alex Moshik with the tackle. Clock keeps running. We're down at a minute now to go, and the clock continuing to turn.
2 timeouts, though.
Eagles content to let a little clock run. They're deep in the Blue Gold territory. You see Garcia getting the signal from the sideline. Second and 8. Garcia dumps it off to Stutzman. Stutzman trying to get some more yards, takes it down to the 3-yard line, close to a first down, 23 seconds and counting, and now a quick timeout by Crosse with 21 seconds to go until halftime. I'm not sure if he had the first down or not. We'll take another look at it here.
Boy, he had options. He could throw it, or he probably could have run it. Either way, they get down inside the 5 and have a short 3rd and 1 coming up here.
So we got a couple of things in play on this play, Nick. First of all, they're just short of the first down. It's about 3rd and less than a yard. They have 1 timeout left. Crosse does. Not only do you want to get a first down, but with only 21 seconds left until halftime, you'd love to get 6.
I'm guessing they're going to run the ball here. Maybe let Stutzman try to grind his way in to the end zone. You've got that luxury of the timeout in your pocket here. If you do throw it, I think you're almost playing for a field goal, though, if you're not able to convert it.
We'll see here with the 1 timeout left. Cade Garcia in this game, 10 of 13 for 101 yards, 1 interception, 1 touchdown. All right, big play here, 21 seconds until half. Stutzman lining up to the left of Garcia. And now a timeout here for Coach Buchaner after he sees how the Eagles line up. He wants to talk it over with his defense.
Yeah, you can't sell out the run. You got to respect the passing game here, especially this short of yardage.
Meanwhile, Michael McGuire getting his offensive troops huddled up here, offensive coordinator. Wesley Buchaner, head coach over at UW-Eau Claire.
That's Coach Dickinson there.
Defensive coordinator trying to coordinate here. So, big game, needless to say, both these teams. And it's been a very entertaining one so far, and we're so glad you could join us here on WXOW 19 in La Crosse and WQOW 18 in Eau Claire. Scott Emmerich and Nick Tabbert calling the action for you. Season finale, regular season finale. The Eagles hope it's not the season finale for them. Let's see if they do a little something with the offensive line here for La Crosse and just kind of put it in their hands. I tell you what, Coach Janis and offensive line coach Andrew McGlenn, he has been effusive in their praise of their offensive line. A very experienced group, a group that took its lumps a couple of years ago, but they all came back. Big play here in 3rd and 1, 21 seconds till half. Garcia gonna throw. Garcia looking to the corner, had Samunchik open, but he overthrew him. So now on 4th down.
I think you roll the dice and you try to get at least the first down with your cowbell running back here.
And your big offensive line. Injured Eau Claire player.
It might be Vic Martinelli. I can't see for sure.
Well, the Eagles with some decisions to make now on 4th and short. They do have 1 timeout with 17 seconds to go until halftime, so the run is still very much in play here if they can convert a first down and don't score. And you hate to see that.
Yeah, the rest of his teammates here obviously concerned.
You see the concern they have for Vic Martinelli. As we mentioned earlier, a 6th-year senior, came back just to be part of the program, to be a leader, and you see all his teammates gathering around him. All-conference performer from 2019. This was going to be his last game of his career anyway, but boy, you hate to see it go out like this.
Looks like they're working on the right knee or leg. Obviously in some pain though. He's battled some injuries all year.
So now if you're La Crosse and Matt Janis, as they attend to Martinelli, you got a decision to make. Run it here on 4th and short, kick a field goal, take what might be a chip shot field goal and extend your lead. Or maybe go for a big momentum turning play heading into half.
I think these are the types of plays that are going to determine this game, though. Are you going to be aggressive and try to get 7 instead of 3?
There's Vic Martinelli hobbling that right leg. And Trevor Nelson helping him off the field. He was also a game time decision. He was in earlier on that big turnover creating play.
Caleb Feeble there as well, sophomore from Neenah.
And buckled the knee brace there. Let's hope that's not serious. All right, so both teams back on the field for this crucial 4th and 1. Once again, they need just about a half yard to get a first down. About 3 for the touchdown. 17 seconds until halftime. Johnston in motion.
Brzezinski follows.
Garcia. Is he going to go under center?
QB sneak maybe?
And now a timeout for Matt Janis. And so he sees the way the Blugolds line up, and now he wants to talk things over. So a little chess match going on here. They ain't playing checkers out there, Nick. They're playing chess.
And we're talking about 6 inches of turf out there, and 2 timeouts and a lot of chess match, yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, that 6 inches of turf, that's a lot of really important fake grass and rubber pellets that they're discussing right now.
I guess you can play some chess on 6 inches of grass. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, well, don't forget Declan Levy will take you the rest of the way during halftime. He has a couple of feature stories he mentioned earlier. We'll also have our first half highlights and stats as well, and a whole bunch of good stuff. And then, of course, the second half coming up here. There you get a look at head coach Matt Janis. You know, the Eagles, they got kind of this thing going on where they have some connections with UW-Platteville. You know, Joel Detweiler, when he was the head coach, former Platteville player.
Yep.
Mike Schmidt, former Platteville assistant, then became the head coach. Matt Janis, now the head coach, a former Platteville player. And now he has decided, you know what? I'm not going to go for it on 4th down. I'm going to take the short field goal from Ryan Byrne. This is a 20-yard attempt, basically about an extra point. Kick on its way, and he blasts it through. So they'll take the 3 and increase their lead to 20-14. Matt Janis sensing that the 3 points a little bit more important at this point. Does that surprise you a little bit?
It does surprise me based on what we've seen from Stutzman. Already 123 yards in this game, and he's shown the ability to lower the pads in short yardage situations and go get a first down for you. But there's a reason why I'm sitting here in the studio today and not on the sideline with the headset on. So, hey, points are good. Put some of that pressure on UW-Eau Claire to go down and have another successful drive with Harry Rubidoux.
Well, with 13 seconds left there, it might be just take a knee time and head into halftime. And if you're Eau Claire, you have to feel good about how things are going so far.
I think so. They've played their cleanest half in quite a while. We talked about turnovers being the storyline the last 5 weeks in this losing streak. To only have 1 turnover here and to be within 6, I think this has been a really solid first half for the Blugolds.
Will Adair back deep for Eau Claire.
And keep in mind, too, that with the field goal, the Eagles are going to get the ball in the second half. And so you get the points here, and then you're going to go right back on offense to start the third quarter. Maybe that factored in a little bit.
Ryan Byrne on the approach. Little squibber. Picked up by one of the up men. And a return out to the 32-yard line with 6 seconds to go until halftime. And I'm guessing here Harry Rubidoux will just take a knee. And the Blugolds will head into the locker room, content, trailing by 6 at UW-Eau here in La Crosse.
Probably going to talk about how do we get Austin Belot going. He's been bottled up pretty much, 9 carries for 19 yards. We talked about it ahead of the show. The WX leading rusher has a chance at 1,500 yards if he has a very big second half.
Well, they're not lined up to take a knee. And here's a handoff to Belot going straight up the middle. And he'll plow his way forward for a nice gain of about 15. And he'll take that into the locker room at halftime. Eagles lead at 20-14 at the midway point here at Herring Stadium. Been an entertaining game so far.
Well, maybe that's why you give it to Austin Belot with 6 seconds left, because you never know. Maybe he can bust one.
Give him a little something before they head into the halftime locker room. It was a nice gain of 15 there. And I'll tell you what, Eau Claire jumped on La Crosse early. They hit that first play of the game, 67-yard touchdown pass, pardon me, folks, to Joe Swanson. And then hung in there, too, got the big turnover down deep in Eagles territory. And they turned that into a touchdown as well.
For one last time, let me thank our field announcer.
Declan Levy standing by now with Eau Claire head coach Wesley Bichonner. Declan?
Hey, Scott and Nick, with me is UW-Eau Claire's head coach Wesley Bichonner. Now, Coach, you were able to get out to a big start on the road here, scored in the first 20 seconds. How big was that for your team?
That was awesome. You know, anytime that you get the momentum right away, we felt like we had a couple things and got some early, and obviously they're going to battle back. We knew that. They got a good football team, and I think we do too if we're playing well.
Now, you've been able to expose the middle of that Eagles defense. What have you liked from your quarterback going through those progressions?
He's done a really good job. Harry, when he's on, he can be a really good player. We got to do a good job protecting him and getting him the ball back on defense. So if we got to get some, we got to turn him over a little bit.
And lastly, Coach, a solid first half, but you find yourself down 6. What's the message going into the second?
Just keep battling. We got to get this game in the fourth quarter. We get in the fourth quarter. Hopefully, the tough team wins.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Coach. Best of luck. Scott and Nick, back up to you.
All right, Declan, thanks very much. Halftime here, Eagles leading. Stay with us, the halftime show coming up right next.
Provides and volleyed through musical genres.
Is one of the most influential reporting
with Scott Montesano on the radio call. Reporter Evan Denton details the journey that Montesano has taken to become the play-by-play voice of Blue Gold Athletics.
Blugolds trying to go to 2-0 in the WXOW.
It has been a long, winding road for Blugolds play-by-play announcer Scott Montesano.
Fancied myself a pretty good baseball player back when I was younger, but I realized at a young age I was too fat and too slow to make a career out of this. But I love the talk, and occasionally people like to listen.
Montesano started his career in Fargo, North Dakota, and has continued to hone his craft.
Listen to a number of great broadcasters, and while you're not trying to copy them, obviously their influence comes through in whatever you end up doing yourself.
Over time, he has created his own unique play-by-play style.
His mouth was dripping right there like he was looking at free pizza. My style is very much storytelling. Anybody can go onto their phone and get the score. They can get the score of the game. So why listen? I want them to come join the broadcast and feel as though they're sitting with a friend and listening to a ball game with them.
He's very excitable on air, and I think his passion and his professionalism at the same time and energy comes through those sound waves from the radio booth.
Key is, with any type of broadcasting, anybody can again say what's going on, but to truly be the voice of a team, you've got to share and be a part of the passion that the fan base and the community has for that team.
He really does, I think his job, which is a difficult job, is to paint the picture to the listener. That's almost like if they were there themselves. Gives great insight play by play, not just at the end of the quarter or at a timeout, but it's play to play.
Over the middle, he's looking for Jones at the stop, 40-yard catch is made, he breaks free, wave him goodbye! 75 yards on the pitch and catch!
Montesano says he looks forward to being the radio voice of the Blugolds for the foreseeable future.
I hope to do this until the day I die. I feel great pride being with the Blugolds and getting a chance to do all the games and meet all of the coaches and the players. It's been fantastic.
Montesano said it felt strange calling games without fans a year ago. He's glad to have that energy back. And the energy here at UW-Eau is quite something. The Eagles lead 20-16, and we'll have more from the halftime show when we come back.
Hey!
Hey, good to see you.
It's nice to see you too. So you're going to lacrosse? Mm-hmm. What is UW-Eau even known for?
This is UW-Eau. UW-La Crosse is considered one of the best schools in the state. There are more than 100 majors. So, if you want to study biology, psychology, computer science, education, business, you name it, they've got it. And don't get me started on the city. The Mississippi River, the bluffs, hiking, biking, boating, places to eat, arts, the culture. It's no wonder La Crosse has been named one of America's best college towns. It's also one of the most affordable schools in the country. But the best part about UW-Eau is the friends you'll make. With over 200 student organizations, you'll find tons of opportunities to get involved.
Wow, so how do I apply?
Just visit the website at uwlax.edu.
Welcome back to the Kubota halftime report. UW-Eau leads UW-Eau Claire 20-14, and UW-Eau head coach Matt Janis was handed the keys to this program ahead of the 2020 season. Then the pandemic swept through, the 2020 season was lost, and it was on to 2021, and now Matt Janis and his squad are eyeing the playoffs.
You know, what a journey. I mean, what an adventure it's been.
Matt Janis is 7-2 as a head coach, and it's not just the X's and O's that's made him successful.
The culture of our program is about you. It's about your development. It's about your interaction. It's about your involvement. Like, that's what the experience is.
Janis instilled a culture that is now the backbone of his program, but he can't take all the credit.
Kind of all figuring it out together, obviously going through a pretty major thing with COVID and a pause season, and having to go through all that, and new coordinators, me going through it for the first time. I just think I'm really thankful for the guys that I have on board with me.
Coach Janis expected to be playing for the playoffs in November, and he says it starts with this game today.
We played a really difficult schedule, not just through our conference. I mean, that's a given, but then non-conference wise as well, and to try to put us in a position to be in that round of 32. And like we talked about all day with our guys yesterday and throughout this week, it's about this game, and we have to be able to win this game somehow, some way. Don't care which way, but we have to win this to have a chance at being in the playoffs.
Janis emphasized how important his staff has been while at the first year of his head coaching job. Now they'll look to close out on the regular season with a win. Second half is coming soon. More with Scott and Nick on the Kubota halftime report.
Welcome to the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, home of Blugolds athletics. UW-Eau Claire has been ranked a top 5 regional public university for over 20 years. We graduate champions with the lowest debt and highest return on investment in the Midwest. Blugolds Athletics sponsors 25 varsity sports with over 800 student athletes. UW-Eau Claire is about excellence in the classroom, the field of competition, and the community. Are you the next Blugold?
UW-Eau Claire and Mayo Clinic Health System are creating transformational learning opportunities for students across the nation. Our partnership allows students to work alongside world-renowned physicians and scientists, making new discoveries that better patient care and the health of our communities. And with more than 150 academic programs, UW-Eau Claire is the perfect fit for those who dream big and are ready to change the world.
And you get a look at Grandad Bluff in La Crosse here on a cool, overcast, windy day on the west coast of Wisconsin. Temperatures 36 degrees with the winds coming out of the north-northwest at 10 miles per hour. The weather really hasn't played a factor other than it's a bit cold. I'll tell you what has played a factor though, Nick, and that is Eau Claire coming out with a fast start, and they jumped out to an early lead, but La Crosse has come back and grabbed the lead 20-14. Let's show you how that first half went down. Both these teams coming in here with looking for big wins and different reasons why. First play of the game, it's the connection to Joe Swanson.
Yeah, made a nice move here. He leads the Blugolds in receptions this season, and what a start, 67 yards to the house.
Eagles came back on their next possession, but that led to a turnover. Cade Garcia picked off by Sam Brzezinski. But then on their next possession, the Eagles finally break through. They went to Joey Stutzman on 3 straight plays. This run gained 43 yards, and then he went to the final 19 yards for the touchdown there, and that tied the game at 7.
He's over 100 yards in this first half.
After that, the Eagles took the lead on a Ryan Byrne field goal of 42 yards. That put them in front 10-7. And the Blugolds answered with a missed field goal. But then here come the Eagles. Cade Garcia in a bit of trouble. Vic Martinelli forces the fumble, and Trevor Nelson recovers. That was a big turn of events because on the very next play, Harry Rubidoux ran it in from 8 yards out, and the Blugolds grabbed a 14-10 lead. But then the Eagles responded. Garcia, a deep shot to his backup tight end, Dustin Schultz, down to the 3-yard line. That led to this. Garcia to Jack Studer, a sliding touchdown. La Crosse was back in front. And then right before the half, the Eagles go for the short field goal to take a 20-14 lead. First half stats, and Nick, what jumps out at you there?
The rushing yards. Austin Belot leads the WYAC in rushing. He has been bottled up today, 10 carries for 34 yards, but 15 of those came on that kind of garbage play right before the end of the half.
In total offense, about even passing yards. If you're looking for a guy who's really kept Eau Claire into this one, it's been Harry Rubidoux.
Yeah, having one of the best games of his season. He's taken over the starting job midway through the season. Turnovers have been an issue, but he's played really clean today aside from the big fumble turnover.
Rubidoux 10 of 17 for 175 yards. Passing for La Crosse, it's been Joey Stutzman.
Oh my gosh, we talked about that one drive where they really rode him. He's got 16 carries for 123 yards, and he hasn't been afraid to lower the shoulder and pick up a first down.
Eagles get the ball to start the second half. We'll have the second half for you right after this short timeout. Well, we're ready for the start of the second half here with La Crosse leading Eau Claire 20-14. So glad you could join us on WXOW 19 here in La Crosse and WQOW 18 in Eau Claire for this WIAC rivalry showdown, the 88th meeting between these two teams. La Crosse will get the ball to start the second half, and that means Cade Garcia back out at quarterback. And if you're just joining us, UW-Eau starting quarterback Jacob Parks out for the Eagles and taking down almost immediately. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 27-yard line. Declan Levy standing by down in the field. He had a chance to catch up with UW-Eau head coach Matt Janis. Declan?
Scott and Nick, I was able to catch up with UW-Eau head coach Matt Janis at the break. He said, quote, "It's frustrating. You can't just show up and expect to win in this conference." He puts the blame on himself, and he said, hey, we still have the lead, 2014 going into the second half. He told his team to take a deep breath, and they're ready to go for the second. Guys?
All right, Cade Garcia back in at quarterback, 10 of 14 for 101 yards in that first half. He did have one interception and one fumble. And they give it to Joey Stutzman to start the second half. Stutzman with some running room picks up 9 to the 36-yard line, and he's been the man so far on offense. Leading receiver for La Crosse is Jake Simonchik, 5 catches for 34 yards. Jack Studer, 3 for 18, and that touchdown. They haven't gone to Cam Sorensen yet, the big 6'3" receiver on the outside, and he's been a big play receiver for them throughout the season. So we'll see if they get him involved here in the second half on 2nd and short.
Well, if you're frustrated with how that first half turned out, here's your chance. Go down the field, get 7, turn this into a 2-possession game.
Not a lot doing there for Stutzman, but he did get enough to pick up the first down, so the chains will move. 1st and 10 Eagles.
Maybe you start to ride Stutzman a little bit more. He's already had a huge game with 17 attempts, but the clock could be your best friend later in this second half, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
3 receivers to the top part of your screen for the Eagles on first down. And that was Sorensen on the little toss, but then we have a late flag coming in, and we may have some movement up front on the UW-Eau offense.
Ball start. Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty. Full first down.
Noah Coleman whistled for the false start, so that'll back up the Eagles and set up a 1st and 15.
And the Eagles were moving the ball pretty well in that first half. I don't think they need to change their game plan too much. I think the Blugolds defense is going to have to get more aggressive and send more pressure, which should give Garcia some more passing opportunities.
On 1st and 15, they give it to Stutzman, looking for some room, and good pursuit by Van Petersman, holding Stutzman to a short gain. Spencer Van Petersman, the leading tackler on this Blugold defense.
Stutzman with the carry. Van Petersman with the tackle. Second down.
Leads the team in sacks. He's also forced 2 fumbles this season. Just a junior. He'll be back next year.
Here's another look at it. This is a replay from Stutzman and Van Petersman coming up and making a play. So it's 2nd and long now for the Eagles from their own 38-yard line. Excuse me, their own 33. Garcia over the middle. Simonchek with some room. He'll pick up about 8 to the 41. It'll set up a 3rd and 7, a little bit more manageable.
Good sure tackle there from Noah Nephew, too. Can't give these Eagles receivers and backs a chance to get a few yards after the catch.
And we got an injured player. That is Mike Bertoya, sophomore right tackle, limping off the field.
Haven't had a lot of cold weather this football season. I wonder if some bodies hitting the colder turf could be an impact here.
3rd and 7. Garcia. Caught. First down yardage. It's Simonchek into blue gold territory, down to the 37-yard line. Another nice little pitch and catch that time from Garcia to Simonchek, his 7th catch of the game.
Yeah, great throw on the run. Nice downfield. Perfect pass into that tight window for another first down.
Well, that helps keep the drive alive. A 3rd down conversion for La Crosse. Now on first down, here's Stutzman. Tries to cut it back up, and he gets about 2 or 3 yards on the play. You can kind of tell Blugolds making some adjustments here at halftime. The yards have been tough to come by early on so far for Stutzman.
Well, you got to stop him, right? If you're going to have a chance to get back into this game and take the lead, I should say. Stutzman, you know, he's run it 19 times already. 134. He's averaging 7 yards a carry. So you can maybe bottle him up a little bit, force a long third down, put some more pressure on Garcia's shoulders.
2nd and 8. Blitz coming, and the Blugolds read it perfectly. Trevor Nelson coming in from his defensive end position to stop Stutzman for no gain.
Yeah, some great penetration that time. Maybe starting to sell out a little bit more on the run.
Here's another look at it. Well, there was nowhere to go that time. Alex Moshik was also there.
3rd down.
And you wonder now, Trevor Nelson, with that injury, may see some more playing time with Vic Martinelli out of the game now. Martinelli going out at the end of the first half would look like a knee injury. 3rd and 8. Garcia with time. Over the middle, caught, first down yardage. Matthijs enters down to the 10-yard line. Great protection, great pitch and catch last time. Garcia to enters with his first catch of the game.
Looked like for a second that pass might have been tipped.
I thought so too, coming over the middle, but if it was, it's great concentration by Enters.
Big 3rd down for the Eagles, right? To keep this drive going. They weren't happy, or at least Coach Janis wasn't happy with how the first half transpired, and now they have a really good chance to get some points here.
Brent Bowman now in the backfield next to Garcia on 1st and 10. Fake the handoff, they throw it to the end zone, it is caught! Touchdown Eagles! And it is Studer again with his 2nd touchdown catch of the game.
Great timing on this pass play. Defender never had a chance to get his head turned around. Go up, get the ball, make the catch. Well done. And the Eagles get the 7 that they were hoping for here to really take control of this game.
Studer with his 5th touchdown catch of the season. He has 3 in the last 2 games. Now Ryan Byrne looking to add the extra point. Drills it through, and the Eagles go on top 27-14 with 9:50 to go in the 3rd quarter. We'll step aside. More WYAC football coming your way after this timeout. Here's another look at that touchdown, Nick.
Yeah, Studer with a nice job getting a step on Carmelo Rosado. Great job looking back, locating that football, securing it in the back of the end zone for the 6, which the Eagles really needed, right, to kind of establish themselves in a pretty good spot here. 27-14, early 3rd quarter, but those 7 points are huge. Every score you get puts a little bit more pressure on UW-Eau Claire to put together a drive on offense.
Will Adair will take this kickoff from his own 1-yard line, looking for some room, and he is hammered. And a flag coming in as well at the last second. The Cole Danielson down there again, making another big special teams hit. Let's see what the flag's all about.
Was it helmet to helmet?
Well, here's another look at it. I mean, that just looked like a good, solid football tackle to me. Adair went airborne, I should say. There. I don't know what else you could do if you're Danielson.
Nice job on special teams. The Eagles have pinned the Blugolds back now a couple times.
During the return, illegal block in the back, return team. Half distance to the goal, first down Clare.
So now the Blugolds will be forced to come out of deep in their own territory. This should push it back to about the 8-yard line. First and 10 Eau Claire, where Harry Rubidoux comes out to lead the Blugolds. Terrific first half for Rubidoux, 10 of 17, 175 yards, had the touchdown pass and the touchdown run. And this game may be right in his hands here in the second half of the because the Eagles have done a nice job of bottling up Bilot. Fake to Rubidoux, or fake to Bilot, I should say. The pass out into the flat is incomplete, and it'll bring up a second and long. That pass intended for Trey Fitzgerald.
Who's listed as a quarterback on the roster, a freshman from Mosinee, but that time he has to go make a play with his arms.
You know those quarterbacks are so versatile, Nick. They can play any position on the field, or at least they'll tell you, right? Second and 10. Bilot straight up the middle. Spichala couldn't bring him down, but he finally goes down after no gain. That was Trevor Helland. And the going still tough for Austin Bilot. That's now 11 carries for 34 yards for the conference's leading rusher. Here's another look.
Yeah, I don't know if they need to maybe do like a toss or some sort of pitch, maybe get him out in space where he can make a man miss. But that time the Eagles had great penetration. He really didn't have a chance there.
Blugolds, third down.
And another third and long for the Blugolds. If Rubidoux has enough time, he can pick apart this defense, but I suspect the Eagles might send some pressure.
Well, they rush only 3 this time. Rubidoux with time, and his receiver trips and falls, and the pass goes incomplete. Joe Swanson, and again that turf monster just kind of grabbing, and Swanson had to take a spill, so that forces a fourth down, and the Blugolds will have to punt from deep in their own territory.
You know, a lot of these games are on artificial turf. Certainly Carson Park is for the Blugolds, so I haven't seen too many players fall this season. Unfortunate that it's now 2 of them, and could have possibly been 2 first downs for the Blugolds if they make those plays.
Baranek standing about halfway into his own end zone. Simonchik back deep. Baranek gets it away, short kick. Simonchik from his own 38 makes one man miss, makes a couple more miss, and then takes it down inside the 25 to the 24-yard line, but there is a flag on the play, and we'll see what that's all about. Simonchik with a nice return of about 17 yards.
Special teams has definitely favored UW-Eau today on kickoffs lately, and I'd say the punt returns for most of this game. They've given the Eagles great field position.
Well, this is a long conference here, Nick. We might be talking about dinner plans afterwards, too.
There is no foul for a block in the back. The contact was legal. First down Crosse.
First down Crosse. We'll take a timeout. 8:41 to go, third quarter. Eagles lead at 27-14. Scott Emmerich, Nick Tabbert, back with you. Herring Stadium in La Crosse. The Eagles with great field position after taking the opening drive of the second half and scoring a touchdown. And you feel like this is one of those moments, Nick, where the game could tilt either way.
Yeah, I'd say 7 points for the Eagles here. It's going to be pretty tough for the Blugolds to come back from 20 down, but they've already forced 2 turnovers in this game. Now would be a great time for a third.
Here's the handoff to Bowman. Looking to bounce to the outside. Picks up some nice yardage and gains about 8 on first down. Down to about the 15-yard line. Brant Bowman playing the backup running back today. Came into this game with 218 yards rushing on the season.
Great effort. Looked like he was going to get swallowed up maybe at the line of scrimmage, but was able to fight off a defender and surge ahead for a few more yards.
Second and 2. Garcia to the end zone this time. Caught. Touchdown, Sorensen.
Great throw. Back shoulder. Put it where his receiver could get it, not the defender. And a couple of quick strikes here for the Eagles. They're pulling away.
Perfectly thrown back shoulder throw, Nick, and you usually don't see that very often, that kind of timing between a backup quarterback and a receiver, but that was exquisite that time.
Well, I suspect that the Eagles knew early in this week that they might not have Parks, and so those extra reps in practice this week paying off here on Saturday.
Byrne adds the point after, and the Eagles lead it 34-14, 7:59 to go in the third quarter. Well, Cade Garcia has really turned things around here in the second half. He was a little bit shaky to start, had the interception in the end zone, lost a fumble deep in his own territory that led to a touchdown, but out of the second half here, he converted a couple of key third and long situations on that opening drive, and then the touchdown pass to Studer, and then right there, a perfect back shoulder TD toss to Cam Sorensen. Sorensen's 10th touchdown of the season. Garcia now 15 of 19, 183 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Maybe that Eagles sideline and Matt Janis starting to breathe a little easier. 2 touchdowns in less than 2 minutes.
So we'll see how the Blugolds respond. Boy, you'd love to ride your main man in Austin Belot, Nick, but when you're down 20 points, how much can you actually go to him and be your home guy? You got to get some points in a hurry.
I think they just need to get some rhythm back on offense. A couple of 3 and outs here and backed up against your own end zone. Maybe look for Joe Swanson. He's been their leading receiver this season. He's been able to get open a few times early in this game. Maybe they'll try to go back to him.
Byrne boots it to the 1-yard line. Adair calls for a fair catch, and so Eau Claire will take over 1st and 10 on their 20-yard line. 25, I beg your pardon.
And we've talked about the Eagles' pass defense being a little susceptible. Maybe the Blugolds will try to attack down the field a little bit more, see if they can get a big chunk play, maybe spark this offense a little bit.
Well, Joe Swanson caught that first pass of the game, 67 yards for a touchdown, and the Eagle defense has been vulnerable to big plays this season. But since then, Swanson hasn't caught a pass. Let's see what Harry Rubidoux does on first down. A little quick hitter over the middle. 2 receivers in the area. Garside was in the proximity, but that one fell to the turf along with Reddington. So
looked like that pass was thrown between the 2 receivers. Maybe not sure who was going to catch that one.
Reddington and Kudik, I beg your pardon, with the 2 receivers close to each other. So 2nd and 10. Freilich and Jones split to the near side of the field with Belot, the lone running back. Here comes a blitz. Pass is deflected and knocked down, and coming through there and knocking it down on defense for the Eagles, big number 94, Zach Mensink.
I think if you're the Eagles defense, you kind of know what's coming now, right? You're up by 20 points. Blugolds can't wait much longer with this running game and Belot. They're going to have to start throwing it, and Eagles are going to start bringing more pressure, I think.
Well, that's when the Eagles have done their damage now, and there's a little bit of a spark on that defensive side of the field now for UWL. Let's see if the Blugolds can find one on 3rd and long from their own 25. Handoff to Belot up the middle, finds a little bit of running room, picks up about 6, but that'll be well short of the first down. It'll be 4th down for the Blugolds from their own 31-yard line. And outside of that little 15-yard jaunt at the end of the first half, that's Belot's best run of the game.
Glad to see he's still smiling, as frustrating as this game has been for him. Not sure if this is 4-down territory quite yet.
With 7:25 to go in the third quarter, Coach Bashana will elect to punt.
Bronick in to punt for the Blugolds.
Bronick standing on his own 17-yard line. Simonchek back deep to return. End over end kick that Simonchek will let bounce. A favorable roll for the Blugolds. It'll roll out of bounds at the 32-yard line, and that's where the Eagles will take over 1st and 10. 7 minutes exactly to go here in the third quarter, and the Eagles leading this one by 20. Ever since Eau Claire took a 14-10 lead, the Eagles have scored the last 20 points in this one.
Yeah, touchdown, field goal to end the first half, and then 2 quick touchdowns to begin the second.
24 points, pardon my math. 24 straight points for the Eagles to take the commanding lead.
I'll let it slide.
I have my calculator over here, Nick. You know, I'm a big stats guy. I should have known. So Stutzman back into the lineup now at running back, and next to Garcia, 1st and 10. I beg your pardon, this is Bowman, number 25, getting the carry. Can't slip out of the tackle that time, and he is stopped for a loss of 2.
Bowman with the carry.
Yeah, nice job by A.J. Furmanek there, getting some penetration. Really, that whole D line blew up that play from the start. A lot of seniors on that front line. Bryson Wilkins, number 98. Thomas Kroyman, 99, right next to him. And then you've got Trevor Nelson filling in for Vic Martinelli now in the end.
2nd and 12. The fake to Bowman, a little quick hitter, caught, spinning away is Studer. Studer, can he get 1st down yardage? He is really close, and I believe they're going to get it to him. Jack Studer having quite the game. That's his 5th catch for 38 yards.
Yeah, these UW-Eau receivers have done a nice job making a move, just not making it easy, right? If you can just spin or sidestep, skate, figure skate like we've talked about to the right or the left.
He slipped the tackle of Justice Williams that time to pick up the extra yardage. So the Eagle drive continues 1st and 10.
I like that they're taking their time. Don't need to be in a hurry. Get the right play call. Take your time. Look at the formation. Get it right.
That time Garcia and Simonchik were not on the same page, and that one fell to the turf harmlessly. 2nd down.
I just think it's all about being comfortable if you're Garcia or if you're Rubidoux today, and Garcia has looked really good. We talked about how kind of the slow start, but he's really bounced back here and has gotten more comfortable, it seems, as the game's gone on.
Well, Coach Janis told me that Garcia had an outstanding summer this past summer, and he was in a close competition to be the starting quarterback with Jacob Parks, but they gave it to Parks early in the season. Garcia did play significantly early in the game, and here's a big run coming up here for Bowman. Bowman has 1st down yardage deep into Blue Gold territory down to the 40-yard line. A nice run by Brant Bowman.
Dragging defenders with him, refusing to go down. That is so fun to watch. Give these guys some space and boom, make a hit. And look at that, he's dragging 3 Blugolds down the field with him.
A gain of 17 yards, his longest run of the day. Bowman giving Stutzman a little bit of a break here.
Blugolds average against the run this season in the WIAC.
Here's a fake and then a pass, and that is picked off. Intercepted by the Eau Claire defense, and that's exactly the thing you don't want to happen if you're La Crosse looking for a chance to put this one away.
Yeah, Brady Underwood with a great play here when the Blugolds need it most. Ball a bit behind the receiver, and Underwood right there to take advantage of the opportunity. Blugolds really needed that.
Yeah, 5:10 to go, third quarter, and we'll see if that gives them a little bit of a jolt. will take over 1st and 10 from their own 26-yard line. Underwood with his first interception of the season.
Clear first down at the 26.
Rubidoux to Belot out of the backfield, and a nice gain on first down of about 8 yards. Austin Belot with the catch that time.
Yeah, they just need some rhythm, right? The last 2 drives have been quick 3 and outs. You had the end of the half, a fumble before that. I think they just need to get their mojo back here on offense. Just start moving the ball. The confidence should return with it.
And you see Cade Garcia having a conversation there with Jacob Parks, who is in the hat and hoodie, and the backup quarterback today, Austin Larson. 2nd and 3, Rubidoux in trouble. Pass is, let's see if they call that a catch or not. They are going to call it a catch, a shoestring catch that time for Eau Claire, and that was number 82, Russell Shaler.
Didn't really matter, though, because the Eagles had this so well defended. They had pressure, forced that ball to come out sooner than Rubidoux wanted it to, and then you've got the defensive back waiting to make a play behind the line of scrimmage.
So 3rd and 2 coming up here for the Blugolds. Kind of a must first down get here for Eau Claire. Rubidoux in a bit of trouble. Flicks it out there and it falls incomplete, so that'll set up a 4th and 2. And we'll see what Eau Claire does here, deep in their own territory from their own 34-yard line.
I think he did a great job just to get that ball out. 3 defenders crashing down on him, and he hasn't had a lot of time to throw. I mean, that was 2-3 seconds tops. He's spinning around, and I thought he did a great job just to get rid of the ball, to give yourself a chance here to convert 4th down if you go for it.
A little bit more pressure dialed up here in the second half by the UWL defense. 4th and 2 from the 34.
4th down.
Belot, the lone running back behind Rubidoux. Here's a handoff on the jet sweep. And it is a first down for Eau Claire. And taking the handoff that time was Terry Fitzgerald. You mentioned his name in the last series, coming in playing a little tight end, and he was able to pick up the first down there. Declan Levy standing by. Down on the field. Declan, what do you got for us? All right, Declan's taking a timeout. We'll check back with him momentarily. But meanwhile, the drive continues for Eau Claire. 3:30 to go, 3rd quarter, with the Eagles up by 20. Rubidoux to the flat, and that pass may have been deflected. That pass is intended for Tommy Tankhamvang, who's just checked into the lineup for the first time. I'll tell you what, the Blugolds are really stressing their roster today, really working their depth chart.
That's something, though, they really started with even during the offseason. They had an emphasis on finding playmakers and finding their skilled players, trying to get them more involved this year.
Declan Levy standing by now on the sidelines. Hello, Declan.
Well, Scott and Nick, up until that last interception by Cade Garcia, he's looked calm and collective. But after that pick, who was the first person that came up to him on the bench? It was Jacob Parks, the starting quarterback for UWL, who is out today with neck soreness, but he was the first one to come up to Garcia. He said, "Hey, that was not a bad throw. You just missed the red. Keep it up. You're looking great out there." But it was great to see some encouragement from the starting quarterback to the backup, guys.
All right, thank you, Declan. Penalty was on Eau Claire. It sets up a 2nd and 15 for the Blugolds, moving them back to the 33-yard line.
I think for both sides today, you know, you're expecting some adversity, right? There's going to be some turnovers, there's going to be some missed throws, but I think confidence and just having a positive attitude is going to be so important.
And for the second play in a row, some Blugolds players jump, but timeout has been called before that. So timeout Eau Claire, 3:18 to go. Eagles lead at 34-14. And if you're just joining us, this game started with a bang. Eau Claire scored the first touchdown of the game on the first play of the game. Rubidoux to Joe Swanson's 67-yard touchdown that caught the Eagles completely off guard. UW-Eau came back to tie it up on a Joey Stutzman run and took the lead on a Ryan Byrne field goal. But then Eau Claire came back. They forced a turnover deep in La Crosse territory, and then Rubidoux ran it in from 8 yards out, and Eau Claire led 14-10. They're looking to pull off the upset and ruin La Crosse's day. Eagles have slowly made their way back. Cade Garcia hit Jack Studer for a short touchdown to take the lead, and then right before the half, Byrne added another field goal to make it 20-14 La Crosse. As you get a look at the quarterback contingent of the Eagles talking to each other right now. And then in the third quarter, the Eagles came back with 2 quick touchdowns. Garcia to Studer to make it 27-14, then Garcia to Sorensen to make it 34-14. That's where we stand right now. 2nd and 15 for the Blugolds from their own 33 with 3:18 to go in the third quarter. Rubidoux going to run, and then he slides down at the 40-yard line after a gain of about 8, and a late flag comes in here. We may get a hit on the quarterback, and that may advance it another 15 yards.
Good things are happening when he tucks and runs. Obviously the touchdown earlier, and maybe we'll see more of this moving forward.
Let's see where the hit comes in. He hits the slide there. I don't even know if he made contact, but it definitely looked like.
Personal foul, defense number 38, 15 yards to the end of the run, automatic first down.
Well, unfortunately, I think they got the wrong guy. It was actually Max Duco who came in late there, not AJ Spiccialo. Nonetheless, personal foul penalty advances at 15 yards, and the Blugolds drive continues.
It's been a while since they've been on the other side of the 50. Just got to keep getting first downs. Plenty of time left. Blugolds they've shown they can put up points. Just got to keep moving forward here.
Belot gets about 2. Now 13 carries for 42 yards for Austin Belot.
Yeah, they're not quite willing to give up on him yet because of the big play ability. We've talked about how he's broken some really long runs, 70-plus yards. He's a scoring threat anytime he gets the ball. They're gonna need one from him here.
He's their home run hitter. We mentioned that school record game back in against Luther, 365 yards rushing. He had 2 touchdown runs of over 80 yards. Yes, you can't just give up on him now. They fake to him this time. Little slant pass headed for Jones, and it's a little too high. And that'll set up a 3rd and long.
Those shots over the middle of the field were there earlier in the game. I think the Eagles have done a nice job kind of tightening up in the secondary.
Well, I know Matt Janis loves his 2 safeties, Elijah Alt and Trevor Helen. Alt, by the way, leads the conference in interceptions with 5. He wears number 5 for the Eagles, and they are a very active group in the back end of that defensive backfield. All right, 3rd and about 8. Rubidoux hit as he throws and through the arms, incomplete. That pass was right on the money and should have been caught by Nick Kudik, but that sets up a 4th down.
Boy, he might have still been running if he's able to haul this in. A lot of space in the middle of the field.
And that middle of the field was wide open that time. Kudik couldn't hang on. So the Blugolds going forward, as you'd expect, on the La Crosse 43-yard line. I mean, earlier in the drive, they went for it from their own 34, so no surprise here.
4th down, Blugolds.
Rubidoux needs some more time, though.
3-man rush. Rubidoux to the corner. Incomplete pass intended for Kudik on the far sideline, and the Eagles will take over 1st and 10 from their own 43. Here's another look.
I think he had enough time with this throw, just a little bit off the mark there, no chance.
Well, there was great push up the middle. They only rushed 3, and I didn't get the number of who applied the pressure, but there was somebody right in Rubidoux's face just as he threw it. And anytime you get pressure from just a 3-man rush, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, and the defensive backs are just sitting back there waiting to see where he's going to go with that ball, and obviously 2 defenders in the area. even if that pass would have been a little more accurate.
1st and 10 Eagles. Bowman remains the running back with Garcia, and he gets the handoff here. Bowman with some running room. Shakes and bakes his way into Eau Claire territory, down to the 49-yard line.
Bowman with the carry.
Eagles now at about 150 yards rushing for the day.
Well, that's been a big change for them, Nick, this year. 2 years ago, they were a very pass-heavy team under Evan Lewandowski. He was a record-setting quarterback for the Eagles and just kind of rewrote the passing record books at La Crosse. And but this year, they've kind of ridden that great offensive line and Joey Stutzman. Now here's Garcia to throw, and that is caught. Eagles have it. It's Enters. Enters takes it into Eau Claire territory down to the 23-yard line. A nice gain of about 25 yards for Matthias Enters, and he walks off the field a bit gingerly.
He's a couple nice throws here from Garcia on the run, and I like the balance with the offense. They're still willing to attack his secondary. Blugolds are really on their heels here on defense.
Well, just to continue my point on their rushing, the Eagles offense averaging 195 yards rushing per game this season. 2 years ago, it was about half that. On 1st down, Garcia over the middle. Oh, dropped by Simonchek. And tell you what, just like Kudik from the previous series for Eau Claire, he was wide open and had room to run.
Maybe was thinking about the touchdown dance he was going to do if he got across the goal line, but that's all right. Next play, right?
Yep, Simonchek's like, yeah, I got to catch it like that.
He's going to get another chance.
Second down now from the Eau Claire 23-yard line. Make it the 22. Sorensen in motion. High snap, handoff to Bowman, and he is stopped for a short gain. Good defense there by the Eau Claire defense.
Bowman with the carry.
Continuing to play hard. That's what this group has done all season long. They're going to bring the intensity.
That was Hayden Goodman coming up from his cornerback position to make the stop. So
Yep.
3rd and 9.
Chunk plays, I was going to say, have really hurt this defense. And we just saw 25 yards on a nice rollout completion. The Blugolds are able to play intense physical football at times, but then they get maybe burned once in a while for a big chunk play, which keeps the defense out on the field.
Well, that's the last play of the 3rd quarter. We head to the final quarter with the Eagles leading this one by 20. We'll step aside. More WIAC football coming your way after this short timeout. Scott Emmerich and Nick Tabbert back with you at Herring Stadium. Start of the 4th quarter. The Eagles looking for perhaps a game-clinching score to finish off this drive, facing a 3rd and 8 situation.
Eagles, 3rd down.
From the 21-yard line. Garcia looking back over the sideline now, maybe changing the call at the line of scrimmage. Garcia over the middle, had his receiver Simonchek open, but there was some pressure in his face, perhaps forced him to throw it a bit early.
Yeah, I think he wanted to hold on to that ball another half second. But good job by the Blugolds front line here to make a play when they need it most.
Yeah, right at the last second, a blitz from the right side of the defense came in, and Garcia was forced to unload. So now on 4th and 9, the Eagles will go for a field goal attempt, and that means Ryan Byrne. He is already connected twice today. 8 of 12 on the season. This is from 38 yards. I beg your pardon, this is the left-footed kicker. And this one is going to be just short. So that is no good, and the Blugolds prevail. We'll take a timeout. 14:52 to go, 3rd quarter. Back at Herring Stadium, Blugolds taking over, 1st and 10 after the missed field goal by Bryce Wessling, a senior left footer who had an opportunity to knock one through, but it came up short.
Big drive here for the Blugolds. You're going to have to put something together on offense, really, aside from the big play to begin the game and the short field after the turnover. This offense has not been able to do much.
On 1st down, they faked a B-lot. Now Rubidoux with some room, chucking it deep. And this is going to be almost intercepted. Helland and Brower were battling for that one, and I think they may have knocked it away from each other.
Yeah, kind of a desperation heave here into triple coverage, if not quadruple coverage. And Jones had no chance to catch that one. He was playing defense. Luckily, it wasn't intercepted.
Well, Rubidoux was 10 of 17 at one point in this game. Since then, just 2 of his last 12 throwing. Here comes the pressure. Rubidoux deep down the sideline, and that one is also almost intercepted.
Jones, the intended receiver.
I think it's time to probably abandon the run here now. You're down by 20 points, 14 minutes to go. So unfortunately, Rubidoux's going to have to face a lot of pressure in his face as he's waiting for his guys to get down the field, because they really need to start getting some chunk plays here.
By the way, that was Kate Osborne on the coverage on that last play, Eau Claire native. 3rd and 10. Six-man rush. Rubidoux finds his receiver, and 1st down. Darius Jones on the catch.
3rd time's the charm between these two.
Nice gain of 15 on the play. Jones now with 4 catches for 61 yards. This time they'd have picked up the blitz.
Yeah, and a nice 3-step drop. Got that ball out right away. Jones with a nice route to get open and makes a cut. They needed that.
1st down, Rubidoux looking deep again, has Jones, but he overthrew him.
Timing has not been there on some of these routes. You know, we just got done complimenting him. That time, I'd say maybe 3 of the last 4, right? And just no one's had a chance to catch it for UW-Eau Claire. It's been thrown too far or too outside.
Rubidoux now 13 for 31 in this game for 200 yards. And that 1 touchdown. Second and 10. From their own 38. They faked a B-lot. Pass tipped over the middle. Intercepted. Elijah Alt. Alt takes it down to the 32-yard line. His 6th interception of the season. That leads the conference.
Well, you could kind of feel it coming, just a matter of time. Rubidoux a little inaccurate with some of these throws. He gets burned there.
We'll take a timeout. Back with more WXOW football after this short break. Here's another look at that interception.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't put all the blame on Rubidoux for inaccuracy. That one was tipped. Just a nice play by the Eagles defense. Opportunistic. They know that the Blugolds have to throw. And another turnover, 2nd of the day now by this Eagles defense.
And now the Eagles in prime scoring position. They hand off to Bowman, and he gets 5 up the middle.
Bowman with the carry.
14 minutes to go, 4th quarter. Declan Levy standing by on the sidelines. You have an update for us?
Tackled by Moshik.
Well, we can't hear Declan right now. Perhaps somebody could turn on his microphone for us.
Second down.
All right, we'll get back to Declan. We'll get back to you. We couldn't hear you. We'll pick it up here, 2nd and 5. Bowman again. Van Petersman meets him at the line of scrimmage. And no gain. It'll set up a 3rd down. You know, sometimes in the cold, those battery-operated microphones kind of tap out on you a little earlier than expected. But we'll kind of heat up that microphone for Declan again and see if we can check in with him.
I can only imagine how many batteries we have down at the field today.
36 degrees down at Herring Stadium today at kickoff. Cloudy, overcast day. 3rd and 5. Here comes a blitz. Over the middle, it's Jostin, the tight end. First down yardage to the 14-yard line, and the drive continues. Will Jostin with his 7th catch of the game, of the season.
Great job picking up the blitz. Calm, cool, and collected. Garcia hits his man, and the Eagles are knocking on the door here. We talked about the Blugolds kind of going down the depth chart here. The Eagles have spread the ball around a lot today too.
Now 6 different receivers have caught passes from Cade Garcia. 1st and 10. Bowman, nowhere to go. Trevor Nelson making the initial contact. Declan Levy is standing by on our sidelines, hopefully with his microphone all warmed up there. Declan, what do you got for us?
All right, Scott and Nick. UW-Eau's 1,000-yard rusher Joey Stutzman is done for the day. He's carried the ball 21 times for 135 yards and a touchdown, but he's wearing a coat on the sidelines and tells me he will not enter the game again. He is not hurt, but it just seems like this coaching staff feels pretty comfortable with a 20-point lead in the 4th quarter and hoping they can use him if they get a postseason berth. Guys?
On 2nd and 10, Jack Studer on a little jet sweep. Not much doing there either. And again, it's Van Peterson making the catch.
All carried by Jack. Maybe you sit Stutzman down because you're looking at the scoreboard here and you've already lost your quarterback today, at least for today. We'll have to see about next week.
3rd and 10 now.
Eagles 3rd down.
Not only that, but the Eagles are also down their 2nd string running back in Brad Tobin, and I'm wondering if that's also part of their thinking. But Bowman's done a nice job here so far. 9 carries, 40 yards for the Eagles. He is standing next to Garcia. On 3rd down, they look for Simonchik, and he is hammered. A terrific hit right at the 1st down marker. And that will set up a 4th down play.
Yeah, J.P. Waltersdorf with a huge hit. The Eau Claire native, Regis alum. Nice play there to prevent a 1st down.
Good clean hit, leading with the shoulder, got him in the midsection and timed it out just right. So 4th and 10. And the Eagles facing either a short field goal or a long 4th and 10 completion here. Let's see. Simonchik jogging his way off the field, or Bowman making his way off the field now. And now it looks like Ryan Byrne is going to come on to attempt a field goal. It was Wessling who attempted the last one. Byrne today, 2 for 2. And 8 of 12 on the season. This will be a 30-yard attempt. And this one is good. 30-yard field goal from Ryan Byrne. That makes it 37-14.
The Eagles 37.
We'll step aside and take a timeout. We'll be right back. 10 minutes, 43 seconds to go. 4th quarter, and the Eagles extending their lead 37-14 on Ryan Byrne's 3rd field goal of the game. That one from 30 yards out. Got a final score from Madison too, Nick?
I do. The Badgers take care of business against Northwestern 35-7. That's now 6 in a row for UW. And they continue to inch closer to a return to Indianapolis in the Big Ten title game.
Playing their best football this season right now.
Still have Minnesota on that calendar. The Gophers are in Iowa City today.
That should be a really good one, and so should the regular season finale against the Badgers. Byrne with the boot. Will Adair from his own 3-yard line. Spun around, still on his feet. Adair all the way up to the 34-yard line. A nice return of 31 yards.
That's their best return in about a quarter and a half. And good to see the Blugolds still playing hard, right?
And some conversations along the near sideline there. Always like to see that during a rivalry. Here's another look at that return.
Well, most of these guys know each other, or at least, grew up around each other. They've seen each other in high school postseason games, or maybe at a camp or something like that. The WXOW, everybody knows everybody.
Let's see what the penalty says.
Dead ball. Flag conduct. Eau Claire, number 7. 15 yards to the end of the run. Be first down. It's number 7's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
And apparently those words we were talking about, Nick, they hurt somebody's feelings, and so we're going to push the ball back 15 yards.
And after all that effort to have a nice return, it goes back the other way.
So first down for Eau Claire. They'll start from their 20. And it's Belot up the middle finding some running room. He'll gain 8, maybe 9 on that first down run. Yards have been tough to come by for the conference's leading rusher today.
Probably his biggest run since that last play before halftime there, where he's able to get some daylight. It's going to be maybe too little too late if he's able to get some of that going.
Rubidou. That one is knocked away, defended on the far sideline.
Still looking for the Blugolds to take some more shots down the field, right? The deficit is increasing here, and aside from targeting Jones, they haven't really taken a shot to anybody else, like maybe a Joe Swanson.
Yeah, since that first catch of the game, Joe Swanson has been shut out. That's him in motion. Third and 1, handoff to Belot. Belot with first down yardage and all the way across the 40-yard line. Nice run by Austin Belot. A gain of 12 on the play. First down, Blugolds.
Austin Belot with the carry.
Such a physical back, right? You give him just a little bit of daylight, he's going to pick up a head of steam here, and he's going to deliver at least one hit before you get him to the ground.
Tell you what, big number 70, Jake Thompson, had his guy pushed back all the way about 8 yards downfield.
Good to see Jake back in the game after being shaken up earlier.
Quick toss to Jones for a nice gain on first down, out of bounds. Jones now with 5 catches in this game.
And we've talked about rhythm, right? Just get a couple first downs, get some momentum going here. I think the Blugolds can score again. They just need to kind of get some momentum going here.
Bad snap from center. Rubidou just has to kind of chuck it away, and it falls incomplete.
Pass intended for Garside.
Maybe just a little rushed. Well, low snap's not going to help, but all these little things matter in a game like this, especially if you're going to try to rally from down 3 scores.
Ivan Rubel now in the backfield next to Rubidou. Third and 2. Rubidou, and he is going to be sacked. Jack Kelly in there, but the first player to make contact was Ryan Daines, a linebacker.
Yeah, great job just beating his man, coming through Rubel here and getting to the quarterback. Well done from the Westby native.
Fourth down.
So 9 minutes to go here, 4th and 7. Blugolds will go for it. Rubidou, knocked away. Max Duco knocking that one away on 4th down, and the Eagles will take over in Blugolds territory with 8:51 to go in this game.
And that might seal your NCAA tournament berth, perhaps.
Watch Max Duco. Turned his head and timed it out perfectly. That's something you don't see from cornerbacks as often as, at least I'd like to see, is that, when you get close and you kind of sense the ball's coming, a lot of times cornerbacks don't turn their head. But Duco did. He played that one perfectly.
Yeah, he's a senior. He played all 10 games back in 2019. Took advantage of that gap year with COVID to improve his craft.
First down, Bowman plows ahead for about 5. As you heard Declan say, Joey Stutzman taking the rest of the day off after gaining 135 yards on 21 carries. So Bowman now.
Bowman with a carry.
He has 10 carries for 45 yards in this one.
And I'm sure Coach Janis would love nothing more than to see a couple of handoffs and just grind out this clock and celebrate senior day with a big win here.
And then look ahead to tomorrow to what will likely be an at-large berth into the NCAA Division III tournament. The Eagles haven't made the playoffs since 2006. It's been 15 years for a program that used to regularly make it to the postseason. Bowman with some good hard running down to the 31, and he has a first down.
Love the effort, refusing to go down, no matter what the score, time of game is here.
Sophomore from Marshfield.
And we talked about, some of the guys opposite the line of scrimmage from you, and they look forward to pushing them back a few yards. I know Austin Belot was really excited to go against his old high school teammate in Josh Dorschner. It goes the other way too.
Bowman again, spins away. More good yardage on first down, a gain of 8.
And just some tough running, and he's got his boys up front creating some holes for him too, and probably no better feeling than to be your front five pushing back the defense and creating some holes for your running back, milking this clock.
Eagles up to 420 total yards of offense. 183 on the ground, 237 through the air. That's the balance that we talked about coming into this one. Much more balanced offense this year compared to recent years. Garcia going to take a shot to the end zone. He's got it. Touchdown, Ryan Byrne. The kicker, who also doubles as a backup receiver, has the touchdown on his first catch of the season.
That's awesome for the West Salem native. Just beats his man. Runs a great route, great throw, drops it right in there for 6 more, and the Eagles are flying high now.
Well, Ryan Byrne was a sensational quarterback at West Salem back in the day. Has been primarily a kicker here, and the senior also a backup receiver as well, and he's got a memory he can take with him as Bryce Westling adds the extra point. Touchdown and the extra point, and the lead is now up to 30. 44-14 Eagles with 6:40 to go.
Yeah, some big smiles over on that Eagles bench. You saw Ryan coming off the field, got a hug, big smile. I think they're starting to breathe a little easier now. They know they've got this one.
Yeah, and for those folks at home who aren't sure how the NCAA Division III playoffs work, there are 27 automatic berths into the playoffs and 5 at-large berths. Just 32 teams make the Division III playoffs. And with only 5 at-large berths, it's almost like you got to win your conference title and then kind of pray and hope. Now, the good thing is the WXOW has an outstanding tradition and reputation nationwide as the toughest conference in the nation. So it's quite frequently that the second place team in the WXOW receives a playoff berth, but you never know if something goofy happens or how the selection committee comes to their decisions. But I know Matt Janis, and talking to him this week, he was really confident that this was a win and in game for them when you consider that they played a tough schedule. Of course, just playing in the WXOW gives you a tough enough schedule as it is. So the Eagles may be celebrating their playoff berth tomorrow. Byrne on the kick. And Adair calls a fair catch. And the Blugolds will take over on their 25-yard line. So the pairings will come out at 4:30 tomorrow, Nick. And the Eagle football team will hold a watch party at 4:30 at the Student Union and hope to hear their name called. It'll be interesting to see how the region all shakes out. St. John's, one of the top teams in the region. Whitewater, of course, getting an automatic berth. St. John's and Bethel from that MIAC conference in Minnesota also in there. And out west, you have Linfield, Oregon, a really good squad as well. Here's a quick pass over the middle, caught by Garside. and he has first down yardage to the 35-yard line.
And some people I talked to said, St. Thomas is gone now, so there was another opportunity for potentially a WXOW team to get into the playoffs here.
Yeah, it improves your chances. St. Thomas, by the way, it was a Division III power, moved up to Division I this year, and so that opened up the conference champ from their conference to be somebody else, and kind of gave somebody else a chance to get an at-large berth from somewhere else. Fumble on the play here on the handoff, and it looks like the Blugolds have recovered, and there is an injured Blugold player, and it looks like to be number 77, Cordell Ron.
Yeah, you hate to see this.
We've seen this a couple of times today for the Blugolds. Ron, a 6'3", 324-pound senior from Hartford, Wisconsin. And again, they're working on that knee.
This late in the year, there's usually a couple of guys that are banged up, and everyone wants to get back for this game, right? If you're a senior, it's your last game as a collegiate player, most likely, and you hate to see these guys not able to finish out the last 6 minutes and 3 seconds here.
Well, you mentioned Trevor Nelson earlier, Nick, and what a great story he has been for this team this year on defense and wanting to get back after being injured, and he had the big turnover play early in the first half, even though he's been only able to play part-time on defense for Eau Claire today. And Cordell Ron being helped off the field today, one of the Blugolds' star offensive linemen. And his Blugold teammates coming out to give him a little pat on the back and some best wishes. Team leader.
Lots of leaders on this year's team.
Coach Bishoner as well. Yeah, we mentioned how both these teams, both these programs got a lot of seniors to come back after last year's season was canceled to COVID. They all wanted one more run at it.
And it will have a lasting effect too, because not only do you get their athleticism this year, but they're teaching those true freshmen the right way to play some football and develop a culture.
Here's Belot, and he finds some running room. Still on his feet. He crosses the 45 to the 47, a nice gain of 14 yards on second and long. And a first down yardage for Austin Belot.
I think he's got some unfinished business here. He is running with some purpose. If this is going to be it for him, he is not going down without a fight. Do have another injury, another Blugold here.
Hate to say that. It looks like another offensive lineman as well.
Yeah, it looks like Noah Coleman, sophomore left tackle here.
76, Drew Schrader.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong. Thank you.
Drew Schrader, another senior going down, and another lower leg injury. This is, man.
Well, Ron was able to get up on under his own power and walk off, so hopefully that's not so bad, and hopefully Schrader here will get up too.
Looks like they're working more of an ankle type situation for Schrader. It's an offensive line that coming in with three seniors. Nick Burton, the senior center, wearing number 64. Cordell Ron, we saw him go off just a moment ago. And there he is, Cordell Ron, number 77, out to be out there with his teammate after going off the play earlier. Drew Schrader, you know those big guys up front. They don't get all the accolades, but they are a tight-knit group.
Well, we've talked about Austin Belot and how successful he's been. He doesn't get there without that front five.
So the drive continues, clock winding, 5:38 to go in this one with the Eagles firmly in control. Here's Belot again. More running room, taken down by Elijah Alt after a gain of about 5. Good collision there between a pair of number 5s.
Not so much taken down, but maybe just slowed down, lowering that shoulder, and yeah, he is running physical.
Belot now up to 71 yards on 17 carries today. So he's starting to get some yards. I know it's kind of in garbage time, but still some impressive running as Ryan Daines stops him for no gain.
Yeah, he's earned every one of those yards today. It's been tough.
And the Eagles still got their #1 defense in there, so he's picking up some yards against the top unit.
Tackle brings up 3rd down.
Michael Whitkey, number 63, now into the lineup at left tackle for the Blugolds, replacing Schrader.
Yeah, Coach Bashauner was happy with his depth. We've talked about that up in Eau Claire most of this season, and this is where it pays off right here. Still able to move the chains.
3rd and 4, and things not in sync there with the offensive line and the quarterback. That'll cost the Blugolds 5 yards.
Ball start. Offense number 70. 5-yard penalty. So 3rd down.
They call it on Jake Thompson, but I think you could have picked any one of about 3 or 4 Blugolds up front on that.
Yeah, penalties have been an issue for the Blugolds today. Not their cleanest game. We knew they had to play a very clean game with turnovers to have a chance, but some of these penalties have not helped either. They knew they had to play just about a perfect game here to score an upset.
3rd and 8 as we come up on the 4-minute mark in the 4th quarter. Rubidoux over the middle, knocked away at the last second. That is Cade Osborne coming in there to make the play, and that sets up a 4th down.
Yeah,
here's another look at Cade Osborne.
These defensive backs have made some really good plays today.
Osborne had that huge pick 6 against Stout a few weeks ago, a game in which La Crosse trailed 14-0, but that pick 6 by Osborne tied the game at 14 and just got the ball rolling in a completely other direction in a game the Eagles won here at Herring Stadium. So 4th and 9. Rubidoux with a 5-man rush, tosses over the middle, and it is caught for a 1st down. Nice catch by Nick Kudik that time, and the drive continues for the Blugolds. Here's another look.
Kudik's had a quiet day, but runs a nice route here, nice ball, nice timing.
His first catch of the day. Many of you I know are standing by for more college football after this game. We'll have Purdue and Ohio State coming up shortly as a short run by Belot nets about 2 yards. Then later on tonight, Notre Dame at Virginia. That game will be on our airways at about 6:30 or so tonight. But more college football, day chock full of college football. Right now we have about 3:20 to go in this one. The Eagles in front. Jones open that time, but that pass is a little bit short.
Darius Jones gets in.
Harry Rubidoux, who's now thrown the ball more than 40 times today. These reps, though, are hopefully going to pay off next season. A couple of these weapons are coming back, and Coach Bashauner hoping he can build something here with Harry Rubidoux.
Yeah, I don't think the plan was to throw it 42 times here, but the Blugolds got kind of stuck falling behind and playing comeback. Rubidoux to throw for a 43rd time. No, he's going to take off and run, and he has some running room. Rubidoux runs out of bounds at the 30-yard line after a gain of about 7.
Rubidoux with the carry.
I think we've found something here with him tucking and running. I haven't seen this in earlier games that I've covered with the Blugolds, but the Eagles have, dropped back in coverage, given him a chance. I think he needs to take advantage of it a little bit more.
Rubidoux, that one almost picked off, but a terrific catch on the far side by Garside, who's having an impressive day today.
Garside's one of those young weapons that will be coming back next year. A freshman came in with 19 catches. He's made a couple of nice snags today. Efficient when he gets the ball in his hands.
I think that was Cade Osborne who almost came up with the interception on the far side. First down. Handoff to Belot. Tripped up and then goes down at the 20-yard line. Ryan Daines got just enough of him. And now we have a La Crosse player who's down. That is Max Brower.
I think he kind of just rolled up on his leg there. Belot's basically a bowling ball coming at you, so.
Here's another look.
Yeah, maybe that knee just twisted a little funny.
Either way, it'll be Eau Claire ball at the 20-yard line, facing a 2nd and 8. Clock starts to run now with 2:25 to go in this game.
2nd down.
If you're the Blugolds, you just want to find the end zone one more time and take some positive momentum into the offseason here, hopefully.
Rubidoux. Nice pocket, throws over the middle. It is caught for the touchdown. Joe Swanson, who's simply a touchdown maker, his 2nd catch and 2nd touchdown of the game.
Touchdown, Blugolds.
Yeah, it's been a quiet day, right, from that first touchdown, but there's been success in the middle of the field. Rubidoux, nice job surveying, finds his big man, puts it only where he can catch it, and it's another score.
Nice and low. Elijah Alt a little late on the coverage, so a touchdown for Eau Claire, and now they'll add the extra point. Frontal trying to boot it through. Oh, and this one hits the upright. It is no good. So just the 2nd miss of an extra point for Brady Frontal this year, and another Blugold player is down, clutching his knee. Well, this is going to be a tough offseason for that Eau Claire Blugolds, especially up front of that offensive line. That's Seth Mitchell.
Yeah, that's now 4 of the 5 starting linemen that have gone down in pain here. Glad to see him pop back up, though.
1:59 to go in this one, 44-20, La Crosse leading.
In the parking lot C3.
Swanson having a big day here in his finale. He actually has his own business where he makes custom fishing rods. Had a chance to talk to him about it today. There's a couple of Blugolds that are entrepreneurs here and have really had their own businesses take off. That's really cool to see whenever you can balance school and being an athlete and also doing something like running your own business, which takes, they've told me, 20, 30 hours a week.
And all this is in response to the new name, image, and likeness rules that have been relaxed now for college athletes. A better opportunity to make some money using their own talents on the side. And it's been really wonderful to see. And hopefully these kids can take advantage of those new rules and get their career started while in college instead of having to wait. Well, Swanson with those 2 touchdown catches today, now with 6 on the season. 2 catches, 87 yards. So now I see Austin Belot in there on special teams. He's wanting to get in on every play here, knowing that it's his final game of his career, number 5. And of course, he probably could be he's on the hands team here, and looks like the Blugolds could be going for an onside kick. We'll see.
I don't think I want to line up aside from Austin Belot here, the way he runs. But
and they do go for the onside kick, and it looks like Joey Stutzman's there to gobble it up. And with 1:58 to go, it looks like the Eagles will put this one to bed. And look ahead to tomorrow to the NCAA playoff show and the announcement of the playoff rankings.
I think they're in. The resume speaks for itself. You lost a tight game to Whitewater, who's been a top 5 team most of this season, and then you lost to a Division II school that plays some good football too.
That was ranked, yes. Yep. In a game that the Eagles actually led. Grand Valley State's the game you're mentioning.
Yep.
They actually led that one in the 2nd quarter. First down, a new quarterback in there. Looks like Austin Larson's in there wearing number 27. Freshman out of Onalaska. And the handoff that time going to Ben Michalowski, getting the carry. A lot of hooting and hollering down there on the bench.
Austin Larson, the quarterback.
Clock running with 1:30 to go.
And no hurry here to run a play.
This may be another handoff to Michalowski. And it is. Looking for some running room. It falls forward for about a yard. Look at Trevor Nelson, number 44. His last game, he's made the tackle the last 2 plays, and even though his team is down big, and he's just loving life right now.
Well, he has missed the last 2. His goal was to get back out and play in this game. He's done it, and he's padded the stat sheet a little bit here too along the way. That's great to see.
A senior from Hammond, Wisconsin, St. Croix Central High School. This should be the final play of the game as we approach 30 seconds to go. Once again, folks, Purdue and Ohio State coming your way right after this one. Here's a handoff. No, it's a keeper. Austin Larson makes a little spin move and falls down to the 3-yard line. And guess who's there? Trevor Nelson. 3 straight tackles. Final seconds, though, and UW-Eau gets the win that they needed. And they will improve to 8-2 overall in the season. They finished the year 7-1 in the WXOW. 44-20, the final, Lacrosse. We'll step aside now and hear a word from our sponsors. We'll be back with some more post-game reaction, and then we'll get you to that Purdue-Ohio State game. We'll be right back. As the Eagles celebrate a 44-20 win over Eau Claire and a likely playoff berth, we'll send it down to Declan Levy. Go ahead, Declan.
Scott and Nick, quite a finish here for the UW Eagles. I'm here with their head coach, Matt Janis. Now, Coach, talk to me right now. You're 8-2 on this season. The regular season's over. How happy are you with the finish of this one, and what's next?
Yeah, I felt we had, I think we were pretty excited with the way we came out at halftime, able to finish that. I thought they had a good game plan for us, especially early on. With some of our Tampa defense that we run on defense, they were able to kind of hit the backside seam of that. And then I think, defensively they posed a little bit of issues up front and continued throughout the whole game, just with some of their movement. And it kind of made it hard. It made it a little tentative, a little slow as we tried to let the movement play itself out. But excited with the way that we finished that game and took care of what we needed to take care of.
Let's talk about your number 2 quarterback, Cade Garcia. He steps in for an injured Jacob Parks. He throws 4 touchdowns. How happy were you with his performance?
I think, like I told everybody, that was a position battle, all the way during camp, and Jacob won the job, and obviously Jacob's been our guy, but we knew we had a really good backup in Cade, and we tried to get him ready for this moment. We tried to, get him a series here and there throughout the season. We tried to get him, involved at Stevens Point. We tried to get him some different things, so in case we needed him, that he was game ready, and so, I think with Cade's performance, it was expected. I think it was expected. That's how we expected Cade to play.
Selection show tomorrow to see where playoff seedings stand. What will you guys be doing for that?
So we're going to watch together. We're going to be in the union together. We're going to be able to kind of watch it together, and we'll see where it goes. I think our resume is strong. I think we're in good shape, but it's out of our hands, and somebody else is making the decision on that. So I hope we're praying to every God and all that, and to get ourselves in and get UW Lacrosse on the table and in the round of 32.
Awesome, Coach. Thanks so much. Go enjoy with your team. Appreciate it. Well, Scott and Nick, this was the best WXOW record from UW-Eau since 2006. They go 6-1, and Matt Janis and the Eagles are partying tonight. Guys.
And not only does he help lead the Eagles to a possible playoff berth, he helps Declan find his phone there at the end. How about that? All right, we'll have more from Herring Stadium, wrap things up right after a timeout. The Blugolds led this one 14-10 at one point, but Lacrosse scored 34 unanswered, and they walk away with a 44-20 win to finish at 8-2. The Blugolds finish at 3-7 on the season. Cade Garcia in relief, 4 touchdown passes, 261 yards passing. Harry Rubidoux, 270 yards passing for Eau Claire, and 2 touchdowns as well. That'll do it from Herring Stadium. For Nick Tabert, I'm Scott Emmerich, our producer and director downtown, Stevie Bland. Thanks a lot for joining us, and also thanks to Declan Levy down on the sideline. That's WXOW football for you. We'll send you off to Purdue and Ohio State next.